Thursday. Glad to see you all today. I'm going to give it a moment for folks to join so we can do this live. And then we're going to go from there. We are just getting started. Good morning, Dilgrave. Good morning, Bernice. Good morning, Maria. Good morning, Carolyn. So I am just going live. I am late today. I had an appointment at the VA this morning. Good morning, Jen. What's up, Red Hot 2409? Lydia, good to see you guys. Hey, Julia. Good morning, hospice nurse. Hey, Cam. What's up, Butter's house? Yep, I had a doctor's appointment at the VA this morning. So just now getting back and being able to go live. Good morning, Sharon. Blessed and grateful. Appreciate you. Hey, Brandy, Sam, Carla. Chris, it's starting to go fast now. Hey, Grammy. Good morning, Sherry. Good morning, Enzo. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We're going to give this a whirl and hopefully it all works out the way that I want it to today. So we shall see. If you are joining me anywhere other than TikTok, make sure that you say hello so that I can greet you in the comments. Good morning, Packard. Good morning, Jer Bear. Hey, Witch. Substack, if you are watching, I don't get to see your comments. I hate that I don't. Very glad that you're here and appreciate you very much. What's up, Toop? Good to see you this morning. Hey, Javi Bration. What's up, Mel Gray? I think I said hi to you already. Maybe I did, maybe I did not. Good morning, Farah. I want to go over a few things this morning. Hey, Yari, good to see you. So that everybody kind of knows what's going on. I sent out a bunch of emails last night. If there is a issue with the reply all, I may need to change the settings on the emails that I sent out last night. You are welcome, Jay Bear. Also, I would recommend getting into the Discord or the Facebook group so that you can get connected with your people. That would be amazing. Because I sent out about 17 different states last night, so you can see that there are people in all of those other counties. So you guys can bring things back together. You tried, Cam? Okay, I got it. No worries. Thank you. Which one is pink? Appreciate that. Yeah, definitely a lot going on, right? The fuckery is astounding. And there shouldn't be I'm not surprised at anything that's happening, right? Like I'm not shocked about anything. Hey, Amy. Okay. You mean in terms of the graphics, or do you mean in terms of the email that went out, Cam? Which one do you mean? Just the reply. Okay, got it. Hey, Sin, good to see you. I'm starting at the A's again. I don't know what that means. No, actually, I didn't. Toop. No, I didn't. I did Alabama, Arizona, Florida, Tennessee, Illinois, Virginia, Ohio, North Carolina, Washington, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Texas, New York, New Jersey, Missouri, Georgia, and Nevada. I was all over the alphabet. Thank you very much. Just so you know. I made sure I did all of the states that we covered when we were on there, and people were looking to network together. So yeah, just go ahead and take that. How dare you? But anyway, so appreciate it, Cam. So I will be working quite a lot today after I get off the live. I didn't know that I was going to spend 3 hours at the VA today, but I did. Thank you, Donna Ski. Yeah, I am in a, appreciate that. I am, oh yeah, you're off work today. I love that for you. I really do love that for you. You like that gift. It was super cute. Do I have a hard stop today? I do not. Love that, Sherry. So maybe you all can tell that I've had my feel of conservative Christian people over the last several days. I really am over it. I am so over it with every fiber of my being. If you profess yourself to be a Christian or a follower of Christ, and you are supporting this administration, if you are supporting this war, if you support the state and the government of Israel, I call bullshit. I do not believe that you support Jesus. I believe that you support your ideology of a religion, and either a political party or a particular man. So I'm just saying that, right? For anybody that is wondering about my thoughts concerning Virginia, I think it'll go through the courts like it always does, and they won't be able to block it, right? Neil, of course you do care what I think because you're in my live, right? Neil, not only do you care what I think, you care so much that you came in my live and then typed a message to me. That's how much you care, Neil. So let me just share with you. Hey, Colleen. So Neil, it looks like you suffer from a condition that is known as Dani derangement syndrome. And there is a quick solution for that. Just go ahead and become a progressive today, and you'll be fine. You'll recover. It'll happen. It'll happen just like that. You'll be just fine. Good morning. Hey, Mama, what's up? So just wanted to go ahead and tell you that way you don't have to suffer very long, you know? Yeah, it's Dani derangement syndrome. Just go ahead, become a progressive populist, and you'll be fine. What's up, Don Juan? You are welcome. I'm gonna have to send them out again if people cannot reply all. Yes, 100%. So just a couple of things in case you all can't tell by the graphic that I've chosen for today. I am at this place where if people can't have real conversations, and the only thing that you have to say is something that is hateful, out of the mouth, the heart speaks, right? And so what I see is the people that are spewing the most hate happen to be people that claim to be followers of Christ, right? And I beg to differ. Grand Rising Rebel, good to see you. I beg to differ. I just don't believe you. I don't believe that you have a heart after Christ. I don't believe that you follow his words. I don't believe that you even have a clue of what service looks like, in any way, shape, or form, because Jesus would not support this president, war, ICE, or genocide or grifting. Just so we're clear, that's not something that Jesus gets behind, right? So if you are supporting any of these things, right, then just understand that you are out of alignment. You are 100% out of alignment. And if you don't think that, then feel free to jump on a panel and we can have a conversation about it. Okay? I'm being so for real right now. I'm like with every fiber of my being, because the most hate that I see, and do you know what's crazy is I see Christians using slurs more than anyone else. Good morning, Raymond. It's the craziest thing ever. Diminishing, using slurs that used to be described to identify people with learning disabilities, and things like that. It's just wild to me. It is just astounding to me. Oh, I love that. Right? Hey, Shanna, good to see you. And so this is my invitation to absolutely anybody that considers yourself to be a Christian or a Christian conservative or a follower of Christ, and you don't agree with what I'm saying, then feel free, please, to join the panel. We will have a respectful, fact-based, Bible-based discussion about it. 100% we will. 100% we will. Okay? So consider this. If you don't like what I'm saying, there's a big request box right there. You are welcome to join. Okay. Hey, Dottie. Good morning. Good morning, Ramona. All right. So, we're going to go ahead and, one of the first things that we're going to do this morning is I'm just going to touch base, because I'm just going to be frank. I haven't had a chance to do my normal like preparation that I do. Because I had an appointment at the VA. Yeah, Frank, I disagree. I think that Jesus would support lots of things in this world, right? I really do. Yep, I do. I think Jesus would support Doctors Without Borders. I think Jesus would support feeding our children. I think Jesus would support taking care of the elderly. I think Jesus would support universal health care. I think Jesus would support free education. I think Jesus would support, feeding everyone. I mean, we know that. Like, we literally know that Jesus would support feeding everyone. He did it. He literally said, "This is what you have. And even if what you have is minimal, you still share it with people." So, yeah, no, Jesus. There's lots of things in this world that Jesus would agree with. It's just not any of these things. It's not President Trump. It's not war. It's not ICE. It's not genocide, and it's not grifting. Okay. So, and like I said, if you disagree with me, find your way here, right? Find your way. There's a big request box, TikTok people. Yeah, I know you see it. It's right there. So just click the box and come have a conversation with me about it. If you think that I'm wrong, come on. Like 100%. Find your way. All right. So this is not difficult. And let me just also say this, if you talk shit in the chat, but don't want to get on the panel, then that just tells me that you are not solid in your faith, right? Because when you are solid in your faith, then you're able to proclaim what you believe unabashedly and have a discussion about it, right? So yeah, so if all you want to do is talk mess in the comments, but you don't want to come up here, right? I know who I have requesting. So I have Farah, who is one of my people. She's requesting to balance out the panel because I do have folks that are in Palestine who help out and who we help out. So yeah, so that's why, 100%. All right. So, folks, if you're new to me, what I'm going to ask you to do is abide by the 4 guidelines that I have for this space. The 4 guidelines are very simple. They are be respectful. Don't use slurs of any kind. If you use slurs, you will be muted and then booted from this space. Okay. Do not spam the comments. In other words, don't say the same thing over and over and over again because it's not productive. And then the last thing is don't type in all caps. Hey, Charlene. And the reason why is because I have some folks that are vision impaired that follow me, and all caps are reserved for those individuals and my moderators. Okay. So it's those 4. Okay. And so that's it. It's just basically be a decent human being and know how to have a conversation. Now, if you can't be in here and not be respectful and you can't not use slurs, then please feel free to leave now. That's not hard. Okay. Not hard at all. All right, folks. So when I bring you up to my panel, do me a favor, put yourself on mute. Good morning, M Cloud, until I get to you. Yeah, you're welcome, Shibli. 100%. You're welcome. All right. Good morning, Stand Up. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good morning. How are you?
I am fantastic. You had something that you wanted to share with the people.
Well, no, I was just wondering, it's just like you're saying Jesus would not support President Trump, war, ICE, and all this. Do you think Jesus supports the death penalty?
No.
Okay, so do all the people that agree with the death penalty, are they, I guess, going to hell or something?
I'm not here to judge anybody's salvation.
Oh, okay. But you're here to judge Trump, war, and ICE.
No.
Genocide, you're judging them.
Well, I think that, yeah, absolutely, I am. I'm going to judge it all by their fruits, right? Because that's what the Bible says. The Bible tells me absolutely that I should have discernment and I should judge them by their fruits.
Right, but I mean, don't we have certain laws and things that people need to do and go through? I mean, don't we have the right to? I mean, we have a right to set certain laws in our country, and we have a process to go through it, and it has to go through. So
I don't know. What laws are you referring to?
Well,
because I mean, I don't think that. So when you say that we have laws that we have to set, I don't know that that's necessarily true, right? And that's not even the conversation. The conversation isn't about whether or not we have laws in this country or in any country, right? The conversation is Jesus would not support President Trump. He would not support war. He would not support ICE, and he would not support genocide or grifting. That's the conversation. So do you disagree with me on that? Do you think that there's any of these things that Jesus would support?
Well, I don't think Jesus wants us to, unalive each other or do anything like that. But I mean, by using your terminology in that, I mean, when the mustache man did what he did, so we shouldn't have gone to war with him on that regards.
So the mustache, but so listen, don't pivot because the mustache man isn't on here. Right.
Well, I understand.
Right.
The President Trump also has to protect the United States.
There was no imminent threat to the United States of America.
So you don't think that enriching uranium over the amount that they can make a boom boom, that we shouldn't do something about that? I mean, we shouldn't hold them accountable and do whatever we need to do to ensure that they do not have that capability.
So I want to be clear. Someone having uranium enrichment is not an excuse to bomb their country.
But haven't you had they've actually said and they've done things, and if you have a group that is a T group.
We're a T group. The United States of America is a T group. So is Israel.
So, well, why do you say the United States of America is a T group?
Because we are.
Well, give me an example why we are.
I'll give you an example. So the United States of America arms and funds Israel. Israel is putting down carpet bombs. Israel is putting white phosphorus out in Lebanon and in Gaza. The United States of America just unalived innocent people in Venezuela, right? So there's a lot of reasons why the United States of America is a T group.
I don't agree with that. I mean, we're protecting, we're protecting Israel. Do you think Israel has a right to protect himself?
So let me be clear. You're not protecting Israel.
No, does Israel, I'm asking you, does Israel have a right to protect themselves?
But Israel's not protecting itself.
So when you have Iran that supports all these, let's say, the different age groups and funds them and gives them money, and they the Houthis, different fascists that they support groups. Do you agree with that?
So did you know that Benjamin Netanyahu funded Hamas?
Well, I'm asking you.
No, but I'm asking you because your basis.
I just asked you a question. Now you asked me a question.
Right, but here's this. So hold on. I'm
asking you just to answer my question. That's all. Man.
Okay, but here's the thing. So right, and neither am I. But let me just be clear, okay? You do not have the right to, because by the way, we funded the same people. We funded Iran. Right? So just to be clear, we fund Iran. We have funded the Contras. We have funded Saddam Hussein. We've funded Saddam Hussein for 8 years before we decided that he was the threat. So at the end of the day, the bottom line is you have zero reason to go bomb a country that has not attacked you.
Right, but Iran, or let's say Iran, has attacked, and they have unalived a lot of servicemen in the United States military.
But so listen, let's be clear. Iran, okay, has never attacked the U.S. military unprovoked. It hasn't happened. It hasn't
I
happened.
don't know. I don't believe.
Well, I've served in the military, sir.
So I come from a military family. Hey.
No, it doesn't matter if you come from a military family. I can actually tell you this is something that I have researched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And so share with me.
Ma'am, I've served. I have not served, and thank you for your service. But I come from a military family. My father was a light bird colonel in the United States Marine Corps. My two uncles were Navy pilots. I have a cousin that also serves. I think that statement that Iran has never attacked an American or did anything before they did it, like they did it only because they were protecting themselves. I think that's
well, they haven't. You can think it, but I can tell you that they haven't because I've literally looked it up.
Yeah, I've looked things up too, and they've used aerial.
So tell me when I would like for you to tell me when Iran attacked our military when they haven't been attacked first.
You can go to us.gov. I mean,
I'm asking you to tell me because you said you looked it up. So what I would like for you to do is tell me the instance where Iran attacked American soldiers in advance, where they preemptively attacked us. Because you said you looked it up.
You're basically taking the analogy. Okay, who threw the first stone?
No, I'm not taking an analogy. I'm stating a fact. You're telling me that my fact is wrong. And so I'm asking you to tell me specifically how my fact is wrong.
Iran is a T group.
Sir, that's not the question. You made the claim that I'm wrong and that Iran has attacked us, United States of America, preemptively, not in defense. And so I'm asking you to tell me to state the time that happened.
They attacked a U.S. carrier. They attacked some of our U.S. carriers when we were doing the blockade. They've done other things.
No, when you say doing the blockade, sir, wait, hold on. When you say doing the blockade, we literally bombed them first. February 28th.
But I need you to answer this question that I asked you, and then you're not answering it. You're just asking me another question from something. Do you, point blank, so you're basically saying, I would ask you, do you think that Iran is funding and giving people weapons to use against the United States? Yes or no? Are they yes or are they not?
To use against the United States?
Yeah.
No.
It's already been proven what they've done and
so share that. So share with me when the United States of so share with me when Hamas attacked the United States of America.
I'm not saying attack. I can share with you that they are funding T groups across the region.
I know. I listen. Nope. You said, and this is what's really important about what you said. You said they were funding other organizations to attack us. And my response to that is no. And the reason why is they are not attacking us. I did not say that they are not defending it. I didn't say that they're not funding anyone. That's not what I said. What I said is not to attack us. And just so that you understand, right? And I said this before and I'm going to say it again. The United States funds organizations just like that. The United States of America funded Saddam Hussein. The United States of America funded the Shah. The United States of America has funded the Contras. The United States of America has funded all kinds of T groups around the world throughout history. And that still doesn't have anything to do with, do you have the right to bomb a country that has not attacked you? And the answer is unequivocally no.
But I think they have attacked us.
But you can't tell me when. You can't tell me when.
That's basically where we differ, and we just won't see it.
No, it's not that we differ, and that's the thing. Facts don't. There's no we disagree on a fact, right? Because I literally have looked it up. You said you did, and I'm telling you to tell me when it occurred.
I can't do it where I am right now because I'm on a phone and I can't get on the thing, but I know that they have.
You don't know that they have.
I do, man, but I just don't have.
You don't.
I do. I'm in a place right now where I can't access my.
So give me a roundabout.
I can't. I know that I can't really just give you an exact date and time and when it was done and used. But then you could say, well, I'll look at that date and time, and then I'll look up the reason why they did it was because back on such and such day or time that someone did this. The thing, ma'am, is that you could say that about the United States as well, like you're saying. Also with the Mustache Man, they never physically came and attacked America, but what they were doing, genocide and other things, and they were taking over. If we said, well, they never touched us, so we're not going to help Britain, or they never.
So can you tell me when the United States of America decided to join World War I?
But that's what I'm using.
Can you share with me? I'm going to help you. Can you share with me when did the United States of America decide to join World War I?
I don't know the exact date and time and when they decided to do it.
Okay, so that would be April of 1918. Do you know why?
You tell me.
Because we were asked to by Lord Rothschild. So Lord Rothschild had asked the Brits. He had sent this packet, like kind of what they wanted to have done. And so they sent that to the Parliament in Great Britain at the time. And so what Lord Rothschild desired to do at that time, because he was one of the leaders in the Zionist Federation. So Zionism was a big thing that they were trying to grow in Great Britain at the time. And so a couple of the leaders in Great Britain were also Zionists. So Lord Rothschild, right, because that's the name that he went by, he actually petitioned the British to help them establish a national home for Jews in Palestine. And they requested that back in 1917. Now, what had happened before that, though, was Great Britain had made a deal with the Arab countries. And Great Britain made a deal with the Arab countries in 1915. And they promised the Arab countries that if the Arab countries revolted against the Ottoman Empire, that Great Britain would recognize all of the Arab countries except for Egypt and Syria as independent, and it would actually help them uphold their independence. And then in 1916, the British went behind the Arab countries' backs, and the British made a deal with the French called Sykes-Picot. And the deal that they made with the French was, hey, listen, if we get the Arabs to overthrow the government, then you can have some of the land in the Middle East and we'll take the other land in the Middle East. Okay, so then in 1917, that would be November of 1917, Lord Balfour of the Brits sent a letter back to Lord Rothschild and said, I am pleased to tell you that His Majesty views with great favor your request to establish a national Jewish home in Palestine. So will you please go back and tell the Zionist Federation that we've agreed to do that? And by the way, this war has gone on for a while. The British Empire is kind of shrinking a little bit. It's become a financial burden. Since you're the Rothschild and you've given government loans, substantial government loans, and built the railroad systems in the United States of America, could you get America to join this war with us and help us end the World War I? And so that's why we got involved.
Okay, but they never bombed us. I mean, they never boomed us.
But no, I'm telling you, no, but the United States of America got involved because of money and because of a debt, not because they cared anything about what Germany or anybody else was doing. The United States of America only got involved to help the Brits because they were asked to, because they were in debt to the Rothschilds. Because how do I know that the United States of America
So what you're saying, if we weren't in debt, or if they weren't in debt to the Rothschilds and all that, that Germany could have just taken over everything, and we would have.
I mean, it is quite. Listen, I'm not Miss Cleo, so I can't tell you what the woulda, coulda, shouldas would have been. But what I can tell you is what happened, right? What I can tell you is what happened. And how do I know for sure that the United States of America doesn't always come to the defense of its allies? Because after France helped us gain our independence and France needed our help, we said no. We literally said, nope, we're going to mind our business. And we let the French hang themselves out to dry after they helped us get our independence.
Well, then maybe the way I think, the way you're looking at, just maybe we should give the Statue of Liberty back to France, tell them to take it. We should get rid of the Statue of Liberty. We should just close all our borders. We should tell all the world. Hey,
what does what I said have to do with the Statue of Liberty, sir?
No, but what I'm saying is you're just saying, well, we should just all put our head in the sand. And
no, that's not. I didn't say anything like that. I didn't say anything like that. I just simply told you what history is, what the historical facts are.
That's fine with history and bringing Palestine and this and that and bringing them in. But when I'm just talking about Germany in itself, Germany never.
The point that I am making to you is, and this conversation isn't even about Germany. This conversation is about current today, right?
Yeah,
so this conversation is very clear. Jesus would not support President Trump, war, ICE, genocide, or grifting. That's the conversation.
But that's where you want to take the conversation.
No, that's where the conversation has always started. You might want to take it somewhere else, but that's been the conversation. That's why it's on the image.
Yeah, but I still think Jesus basically, like I said, with the death penalty, I mean, do you believe in the death penalty?
So where is the death penalty in this conversation? Show me in the Bible. Show me in the Bible where Jesus said, I believe in the death penalty, or I would like for you to, unalive people.
I'm not asking what Jesus says and where in the Bible. I'm asking you.
But literally, that's the conversation.
No, ma'am, I'm asking you a direct question. If you don't want to answer it, say, I don't want to answer it.
What is your question?
My question is, do you believe in the death penalty?
No, I don't support anybody being killed. I don't think anybody should be killed. I don't think that I'm God. I don't have the right to take anybody else's life.
So do you think that we should, I guess my next question is, do you think the death penalty deters people?
No, I don't.
Bad things?
No. Show me where it does. It doesn't.
So if someone came into your home and unalived your family.
Why do you keep doing all of these hypothetical things instead of talking about what we're talking about? I don't understand that.
I just think that people need to be responsible. In the Testament, in the Old Testament, an eye for an eye.
Well, we don't live in the Old Testament. Jesus wasn't in the Old Testament. And as a matter of fact, Jesus said you are no longer under the law, you are under grace. That's what Jesus said. So Jesus said the Old Testament no longer applies. That's what Jesus said.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that there are. Do you believe in good and evil?
What do you mean?
There's a difference. Well, what I mean is, do you believe that some people are inherently evil?
No, I think all of us are born. All of us are born with the same capacities, and it's whatever you choose to be and do.
Okay, so do you believe that some people choose to be evil?
Obviously so. Look at our president.
Okay, so for these people that choose to be evil, should we just say, hey, you can just do what you want?
So I didn't say do what you want. Don't be ridiculous. I didn't say do what you want. I said don't kill them. That's what I said. So if you really want to know what I think that Donald Trump would have turned out to be an entirely different human being if Fred had actually loved him the way he needed to be loved when he was a child. I think Donald Trump would be a completely different person had his upbringing just been different, right? I think he would have been an entirely different person if his family had gone to therapy. I think if his family had put things in place. It's the same thing with a lot of people, right? What we don't do in this country is we like to punish people for their trauma. We like to punish people for their poverty. We like to punish people for anything and we make money off of it instead of doing everything possible to help people achieve the best versions of themselves. We don't do that.
Can I ask you a question? Do you believe we should have secure borders?
We have secure borders.
So then why do we have illegal people coming in not in the proper way?
Okay, because you keep pivoting all over the place.
Well, no, you said it wouldn't, that Jesus wouldn't support ICE and,
because he wouldn't
in war. But what I'm trying to say is that, I mean,
and Jesus said, "Love thy neighbors as thyself."
Pardon me?
Okay, so let me ask you this: Can you share with me what is the greatest commandment that Jesus gave us? What is the greatest commandment?
I think thou shalt not kill.
Nope, that's the first commandment from Moses. That's the first commandment from the Old Testament. I'm asking for the greatest commandment because the disciples asked Jesus, "What is the greatest commandment?" And he answered them.
Well, what is it?
Okay, so this is what he said. He said, "The greatest commandment is to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, and love thy neighbor as thyself." And he said, among these two commandments, all other prophets and laws hang. So in other words, any other law, any other guidance comes third and later to those two. So if you are not loving the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy mind, with all thy soul, and loving thy neighbor as thyself, then you can't even go anywhere else. You have not met what Jesus said to do above everything else. You don't have any business judging anybody else.
So by that terminology, we shouldn't have borders. We shouldn't have
borders are man-made.
I know, but that's what you're saying. We should just everybody should be open. Everybody,
So again, so you're going to this place. So listen, we live in a world, a society where we chose to make borders be a thing. We chose to make different countries and do all of those things, right? So that is the world that we live in. And so I never said anything about not having borders. I never said anything about I never said any of those things. Right?
Yeah,
so what you like to do, so stand up though. Stand up. Here's what you like to do. You like to take a point that I make, and then you like to take it to the most insane, obscene, non-relevant thing as if that's what I said. And that's not what I said. So could you just stay with what I said? Could you just stick with what I said? Because that's the conversation.
What you just said to me is you should love thy neighbor and do all that.
I did. So does loving your neighbor mean no borders? Does loving your neighbor mean no borders? Yes or no? Does loving your neighbor, no, stand up, listen. Does loving your neighbor mean no borders?
I believe so, yes.
So does everyone in your family live in your house?
Does everyone?
But you love your family, right? But you have your own house, yeah?
Yeah, but
okay. Do you love your next door neighbor like in real life?
Yeah.
But do you have a property line?
Yeah, we have a property line.
Okay. But come on now. No property lines. You and your neighbor should share the same yard. By your standard, you don't own your lot. Your neighbor owns your lot with you.
I understand what you're saying.
No, you don't.
But in the same preference that you're saying is that my neighbor is Mexico. My neighbor is the next.
And your neighbor is Canada. And your neighbor is.
So then it goes on and on. So we should all be neighbors.
And so this is the thing that I'm saying to you. Neighbor love does not require the absence of a border. I can love somebody no matter where they are. Do you love your family that lives in another state? Of course you do. Do you remove the border for your state in order to love your family? So if you have family that doesn't live in your state, do you stop loving them when they go across the state lines or no? Or do you still love them even when they cross state lines? Because to my knowledge, love doesn't stop when you cross a border. Love doesn't stop when you cross a state line.
No, ma'am, I understand that, but we can't just all love everyone because
why can't we?
There's evil in the world.
Why can't we love everyone?
We can still love the person, but you can't.
But kill them. You can love them, but kill them.
Be forgiving. Listen, I know we're supposed to be forgiving. I understand that. But if my neighbor came into my house and one of the neighbors, let's say, did something very bad to my daughter, then I'm still supposed to love him, even though he did a very bad thing. And he went in there and took advantage of her and did something without her consent. Mm-hmm. Then I'm still supposed to love that neighbor. I can still love him as a human being,
but what?
Probably no.
Where did Jesus say love him but?
No, it's not. I'm sorry. It's just there's no way. We were born, and that's why Jesus died on the cross so we can.
Oh, so you can sin? But you can't forgive. But you can't.
That's why we're all sinners.
No, but this is a choice to be imperfect. That's a choice to be imperfect. You're literally using Jesus' sacrifice as an excuse. And by the way, there is a difference, right? I just want to be clear. There is a difference. Okay, so Jesus, when we talk about sins, there's a difference between just a sin and then a premeditated sin. There's a difference between, I just have a sin and then, I'm going to plan to sin because I know I have Jesus to back it up, right? That's a choice.
Yeah, I know what you're saying there, but then in your terminology, what the mustache man did, so basically you're saying, and man, Jesus is all powerful, but if he just, at that time, he knew what he was doing, what he did, unalived all these people, but I guess right at that time, before he took his life, he said, Jesus, forgive me for all the bad things I did. I'm morally sorry. And then he, shot himself. So you're saying, yeah, Jesus would, I guess he would have to forgive him if he was in there.
I mean, right? Jesus forgives automatically anyway. I mean, Jesus isn't holding our sins against us, and I'm not here to judge anybody's salvation. So I'm literally talking about love, not somebody's salvation, right? So when you love thy neighbor, love does not require the absence of a boundary or a border.
Yeah, but if you have these people that have done, I still think you should take care of yourself and your family, and we have a right to secure borders. And
nobody said that you don't.
Yeah, but you're saying in one thing that you've made statements and saying one thing that everything is okay.
What did I say? Everything is okay.
No, but you said we shouldn't. And one thing is we should love thy neighbor. And if you love thy neighbor and love yourself and do it like that, what you said, then our neighbor is Mexico.
So you don't love Mexico?
No, I do. And you should let people come in and out and do what they
We didn't discuss anything about the border, sir. We did not discuss immigration. I asked you, the whole reason we got here is because we are discussing the things that Jesus would and would not support. And I ask you, what did Jesus say is the greatest commandment? And you said, tell me.
You said, love thy neighbor, do all that.
Nope. I didn't say, nope. I said the greatest commandment. And it's important that we know what they are, right? Because the greatest commandments are love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, and love thy neighbor as thyself. It's not just, hold on, wait, because it's not just love your neighbor. It's love your neighbor as yourself. So how do you?
If I love my neighbor as myself.
Yep.
I love that. Then I wouldn't have borders. I'd let people come and go.
Okay, so that's you. So that's you. That's the way that you interpret that. So to me, when I say love my neighbor as myself, that means that I would love my neighbor and I would treat my neighbor the way that I love myself and the way that I treat myself. Now, when the way that I love myself and I treat myself is I absolutely have boundaries for myself, right? I absolutely have boundaries for myself, and I can have boundaries for my neighbors as I love them, right? The same way that I don't want to punish myself and be mean to myself, right? If I cross a boundary, means I don't want to be mean to somebody else if they cross a boundary. I want to give them grace the same way that Jesus gave me grace. It means I want to love thy neighbor as myself. That's what it means. Right. And then it means, okay, so you came in a different way, which, by the way, that in and of itself is a misdemeanor, but there's a lot of things, and it's not a misdemeanor depending upon why you did it. But anyway, we're not going to get into the legalities of it, right? And so the deal is that if the neighbor comes here and we have this conversation, and the reason that the neighbor wants to be here may or may not fit the criteria, then the neighbor goes through the due process for the laws that we have the right to create, right? And then if they meet the actual laws and the criteria that we set up for them, then those people have the right to be here. That's it.
Which I don't have a problem with.
Okay, so
I do have a problem, but I do have a problem with people that come in here and overstay visas when they have a certain project and they overstay visas.
So can you share with me?
So that's why I support ICE.
Okay, well, those two things don't have anything to do together. So let me ask you this, stand up. Hey, Thomas, good to see you.
They don't have anything to do.
Because they don't, and I'm going to share with you why. Can you tell me, can you tell me, stand up, at what point did the United States of America start to track whether or not people showed up to their hearings?
Well, when did they start tracking it? They were tracking it when they come to court. They go in when you come in on a visa and that, or come across the border. You're supposed to do certain things.
So listen to my question. Okay, you're giving, so when you come across the border and you are giving a notice to appear, I'm asking you, when did the United States of America begin tracking if you appeared in court like you're supposed to?
Well, the courts have the documents. They see it. And if you don't do it and they don't show, then they're in violation of that. When people come
So let me just answer the question for you. The answer is we did not even begin to put together a system to track if people showed up for their hearings until December of 2024. And the reason we began to do it in December of 2024 is because the Government Accountability Office did an entire audit of the immigration system and said, we don't even know if people are showing up to the hearings that we asked them to come to because we don't track it. Now, what's crazy about that is
the court tracks it. If you have
the court is not the immigration, sir. The court is not immigration. So this is the point. Stand up. Stop for a second. Stop, because you're not listening. A court, there was no process to get information from the court back into the immigration system through the Department of Homeland Security to know that information. And so this is what I'm telling you. That is a system that did not exist until December 2024. when the Government Accountability Office did an audit of the system and absolutely said, we need to start tracking this. And then it began to be implemented, I hope, in 2025. So when you talk to me, so here's the thing, and I just want you all to think about this logically, okay? Logically. If illegal or unauthorized immigrants in this country was such a violent threat to this country, would we not have begun tracking if people didn't go to their hearings before 2025? Right? So if the data, it does matter. Stand up, it does matter.
It doesn't.
It does matter.
If you don't come in a port of entry and get...
That's not legally required.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. 8 USC 1158 does not require that I come through a port of entry.
What does it require?
See, this is the thing. You want to talk immigration to me.
I'm asking you.
Right. Well, it depends on how you're coming here. So let me just give you, I'm going to give you an example.
Everyone comes here under threat of...
No, they do not. See, that again tells me you don't know what you're talking about. No, they don't.
A lot of them do, and a lot of them get turned away from it.
Oh, my goodness,
When
sir.
they come to the border, they get rid of their documents. And they
Sir, you are talking to someone that actually knows immigration. So I'm going to give you an example. Are you ready? Have you ever read 8 USC 1125? I mean, 8 USC 1325. 8 USC 1326?
Well, just tell me, man.
Hold on, I'm asking. 8 USC, hold on. Have you read 8 USC 1158?
Why do you
have you read 8 USC 1611? The reason why I'm asking you that is because the reason I am telling you that, sir, the reason why I'm asking those questions is you are telling me what people do when they come here. And what I am telling you is you don't know enough to tell me what they do because you haven't read immigration law. I have.
Okay, so.
Right. And my job is not to sit here and educate you on immigration. If you want to be educated on immigration, you can click the link tree that is in my bio. You can go to my very extensive link tree. You can click the link to the Google Drive that has all of the immigration laws and the necessary links for you to read up on them. But that's not my responsibility to educate you. My responsibility, and this is even right what I'm doing right now, that link tree is not my responsibility. I do it because I desire for Americans to become informed, right? And what I would expect is that grown adults, before they start telling everybody what the process is and what people do, I would expect grown adults to actually go make sure they have an accurate understanding. Because that's what I did. In 2024, hold on one second. In 2024, when immigration became the hottest talking point that there was, what I wanted to make sure I did before I got on here telling other people about immigration was to know what the fuck I was talking about. So one of the things that I looked up for was example. I'm gonna give you an example. Just hear me out. So when that became the talking point, I said, okay, so are the borders open? What is happening? Like, what is an unauthorized immigrant? What's an undocumented immigrant? What is what are the classifications for those things? Like, what's actually happening? And then I said, okay, so what happened with these immigration laws, right? Because I know that we had an immigration law that was proposed in 21 and 23 and in 24. So I was like, so what happened with each of those, right? Because some people were saying, oh, but it wasn't a standalone document. It wasn't a standalone bill. And then it come to find out the last bill was a standalone bill. It was nothing except immigration. And it was actually created by Senator Langford of Oklahoma, who was considered to be one of the most conservative Republicans that we have in Congress. And then I literally went online and I watched him tell them on Fox News that it was the president who told Senate Republicans not to pass that bill because he wanted to run on immigration. And then Senator Langford said, listen, I understand that the president has a campaign to run, but I know that if we put things off, they tend to never get anything done. So I say, while we have the votes, we should have handled immigration today. That is, and if you would like, I'm not kidding you, I am happy to pull that up and let you hear Senator Lankford say that right now.
Well, I knew what the bills were, and I read the bills, and I know that it was a standalone. They had too much pork, and they did it, and then they call it a bipartisan bill.
It was never a bipartisan bill. They just agreed on it bipartisanly, but it's not a bipartisan bill at all, sir. It is a very conservative bill. Very conservative.
I read it, and I didn't think it was good because they were asking to have an addition. So many people that would.
No, they weren't. You're talking about 5,000, and that's a lie. I'm going to show you. Senator Lankford actually says, no, that's not what the bill said. That's the thing, sir. This is why it's so important to make sure that you have a full understanding of what the bill said.
I read the bill.
No, what you thought the bill said. Let me tell you what you thought the bill said. You thought the bill said that we would allow up to 5,000 people a day in, and that's not what the bill said. Senator Lankford literally told Fox News that's not what the bill said. He said, my conservative colleagues are telling people wrong because that's not what it says. I'm going to show you.
Pull the bill up if you want it.
Hold on. Nope. I'm going to tell you the man who wrote the damn bill, who sponsored it. That's what I'm going to do.
Well, I don't care what the man who sponsored it and wrote it.
The man, well, he's the one who would know what it says.
No, I would like, if you're saying.
Okay, so again. Is. One moment, folks. One moment. Because I know what I'm talking about, sir. You do not. And I'm not saying that in a mean way. What I am saying is I know this 100%.
Ma'am, I read the bill and they had to have it. The only way they would shut down the border, they brought more. We already have way too many people.
Nope, you're wrong. And we can talk about that other part in a minute. I'm just telling you, we can talk about the other thing that you're about to say in just a minute, and I will pull up the numbers for you. That's what I will do. I will pull up the numbers because I bet you did not read the latest estimates of unauthorized immigrants in this country that came out in April of 2024 from 2018 to 2022. I bet money you haven't read that report. Guess who has? Me. Because I wanted to know what it said.
That bipartisan deal that looked like it could have removed any of this separate palace intrigue, but it never happened. The senator kind enough to join us. Senator, good to see you again.
Good to see you again as well.
You think about it, Senator, your work and working with others to come up with a plan to at least address some of these pressing issues at the border. It ultimately never happened. It had a good deal of support, but it didn't go anywhere. Bottom line, then the other issue with Mayorkas did. That didn't go anywhere. He's still staying in the job. So what's to stop me from thinking nothing changed?
Yeah, well, 5,800 plus yesterday crossed the border illegally. That continues to be day after day. The media has just looked away from what's happening at the border, but it continues to be chaotic. My issue has always been I'm going to work with anybody on either side of the aisle that's willing to be able to stop the chaos of the border. If we can negotiate a deal to actually get this done, we'll do it. The White House has things that they could do, they're choosing not to do. Congress has things that they could do, they're choosing not to do. And that leaves us with 5,800 people a day still crossing the border while everyone's pointing fingers at everybody. At the end of the day, we do have to solve this. This is a major national security risk. And yesterday's impeachment trial, which was painful to be able to see for the future of the Senate, was one more painful moment to say, if we're going to do something, let's do it. But yesterday was more drama than actually getting anything done because Schumer was unwilling to actually have a trial after we have an impeachment. And again, with 5,800 people crossing, including special interest aliens that are known terrorists, they continue to be able to come and we're not stopping it.
Do you think had they passed that measure, which would have at least put a ceiling on that sort of number, we wouldn't be looking at what we're looking at now, and we wouldn't have seen or pursuit of Mr. Mayorkas?
Well, I don't know if we wouldn't have had an impeachment vote or not. Obviously, the House still has major problems. There's a major issue with Mayorkas basically telling false information to the House. You've got all kinds of other areas where they've chosen not to enforce the law. don't know whether the impeachment would have moved in the House, but we wouldn't have had 5,800 people illegally crossing the border yesterday. There's no way that would have happened. We'd had double the number of detention beds. We'd had double the number of deportation flights, a change in the asylum standard, a quick turnaround process that was in that bill. So, no, we would have had a much, much smaller number than what we had just yesterday.
I've raised this issue, Senator, with your colleague, John Barrasso, on where that finger pointing started, and more to the point, some of the expectations for President Biden to do something via executive order. I'd like if you can sort of respond to this. If this president, by executive order, didn't do enough, and this measure wasn't enough, it's fair to say both parties dropped the ball on it, right?
Well, this president did 94 executive orders his first 100 days in office, throwing the border wide open, inviting people from all around the world to come here. Over 150 countries, many from communist China, are here, 20,000 this past year alone. This is a president who refuses to enforce the law and who has new interpretations of the law to let more people in. The bill that was worked on in a bipartisan way would have set 5,000 a day. That is not good enough.
So here
All right, that measure you referred to would still not have been good enough. What do you think?
Yeah. I get it. This common misnomer of the 5,000 a day, several of my colleagues have mentioned this. That's actually factually not true with it. The way the bill was set up is the very first person they came across would have been detained, quickly screened, and deported. So it was a very rapid turnaround from the very first person that came across the border.
Listen, he said, my colleagues have said this. It is factually not true. I just want to say it one more time.
Not have been good enough. What do you think?
Yeah. I get it. This common misnomer of the 5,000 a day, several of my colleagues have mentioned this. That's actually factually not true with it. The way the bill was set up is the very first person they came across would have been detained, quickly screened, and deported. So it was a very rapid turnaround from the very first person that came across the border. But it also did set up an extreme measure that if we have these large caravans and other folks that come in and we get 5,000, it takes away due process when you get to that number and they're just detained and deported. So the first person detained, screened quickly, and deported. If you get to 5,000, they're just detained and deported. But it doesn't wait till 5,000 to do something. It did it at the very first moment. That was the great misnomer. What Senator Barrasso was saying in that, though, is actually correct, that this is not just a Mayorkas issue. This is a Biden issue because the State Department is no longer pushing people back to recalcitrant countries. The Department of Justice is no longer prosecuting folks. ICE is no longer gathering folks up in the interior and deporting them. And DHS is no longer stopping people at the border. This is a whole of government effort to be able to advance the number of people coming in and not turning people around.
You're a real gentleman about this, and I know you're not trying to zing your colleagues, but it's your colleagues in your party, sir, who torpedoed this, who didn't get the facts right on what you just outlined was in that measure. They killed it. Ironically, not Democrats.
Right. It was, and it was painful to be able to watch. It got stirred up in all the presidential politics, and several of my colleagues started looking for ways after President Trump said, don't fix anything during the presidential election. It's the single biggest issue during the election. Don't resolve this. We'll resolve it next year. Quite a few of my colleagues backed up, looked for a reason to be able to shoot against it, and then walked away. I get that. That's a decision everybody makes in it. My issue is if we're pursuing everything, we very often end up with nothing. If we're pursuing someone coming later to fix it, later seems to never come. When we have a moment to fix things, we should fix as many things as we can then come back later and fix the rest.
So again, like I said, it was not 5,000 a day. It was not. It was absolutely one of the most conservative immigration bills to be put forth. And it was stopped by Donald Trump during his election so that he could use immigration to scare people and make them vote for him. That's what happened. And if you want to look at the numbers, I'm happy to tell you. I can pull up CBP numbers because that's what I did when I wanted to become well informed. And then I can actually pull up the report that I told you about. Why? Because I read it all. Why did I read it all, stand up? Because before I got on TikTok, like my daughter asked me to, I wanted to make sure that I clearly understood what was and wasn't happening so that I did not lie to people. And that's why I know what I'm talking about. So, folks, I just want to be clear about something, okay? He put it on mute because he's working. But folks, this is important for people to understand, okay? This immigration is a system that has been broken for more than 50 fucking years. And the reason this country has never cared enough to do anything about it is because we make a shit ton of money off of immigrants. And if we do not have immigrants in this country, we are going to be fucked. And that's just across the board. Literally, the Bush Foundation did a study about immigration and said they are a plus positive for this country. They pay into systems that they do not get to take part in. 8 USC 1611 will tell you unauthorized immigrants do not get any federally funded benefits. None. No federally funded benefits. Now, if your state has a law that says in that state they can have state-funded benefits, then that's on your state. Stand up, are you still there? Guys, this is why it is so important. This is why it is so important to do your due diligence and to know what you're talking about. It is okay to not know. I have learned so much in the last 2 years. Why? Because I wanted to know for sure what I was talking about. Stand up. I sent you an invitation to unmute. And let me just say this, folks. If you truly love the country, you'd want to do your due diligence. If you truly love the country, you would not be arguing with people instead of looking at facts. But some of you all don't really love the country. Some of you all don't. All right. So there's another user that has requested, user, put yourself on mute when you first get up here. I'm going to go over the guidelines for this room again, just so everyone understands. In this room, I ask that you be respectful. I ask that you do not use slurs of any kind, because if you do, you will be muted and then booted out of this space. I don't care who you're using the slur against, right or left, doesn't matter to me. Don't spam my comments. In other words, say what you got to say, but don't say it 5, 6, 7, 8 times. And then last, do not type in all caps. The reason I don't want you to type in all caps is because A, it's reserved for my moderators, and B, because I have subscribers and I have viewers that I know are vision impaired, and all caps are reserved for those folks. So just be a decent human being and follow basic guidelines. That's it. Oh, well, user, I hit you and you didn't come up. It was user with a lot of things behind you, a lot of numbers, but you didn't come up. So again, yeah, you saw Cam, right? I love that, Abu Binks. So, folks, this is the topic of conversation. And what's wild to me is that the topic of conversation is specifically about what would or would not be supported, because the people that I hear supporting these things claim to be followers of Christ. And you're not. Is it, Letty? So, guys, don't talk to Tano. Tano is either a bot or not, or just a troll, an agent of chaos. Tano is just here to say dumb shit. Don't entertain. Don't entertain that, please. All right. So, what I would like to do is, I always do this thing where I check to see what the President of the United States has had to say today, because I think it's important to know what the president says, right? There are real ramifications for how the President of the United States represents the country, right? And so I always go to check to see what he said. And then I'm also going to check a couple of other sites to see what are the things that are like right there that we need to talk about. So stand up. I see you're back.
Yeah, and I totally, I'm working, and I'm sorry. I had an issue, and I had to address it immediately. But no, I listened to your thing. But the gentleman that was doing it, first he said there was 5,800 people coming a day.
Under Biden is what he just said. That was in 2024.
Okay.
And so he
that
said,
2024.
Correct.
And then didn't he also say that there was also people that were known on the T group watch list that have come through? And these are the people that they verified. They don't know how many gotaways, or these are just people that we know of.
The point is that the bill.
Can I finish?
Yeah, go ahead.
May I finish?
Sure.
That these were 5,800 people that are coming in daily. Some of them were coming in were on the T group watch list, and that this just was under Biden, and this was happening. And that's just talking to the ones that they know. We also know, we don't know if the gotaways are the ones that have come in, that have got into the country. That number's even higher.
So here's what we know for sure. Stand up. Here's what we know for sure.
Yes,
is that under no administration, under not a single administration, has immigration law ever been perfect, or nor is it going to be perfect. We for sure know that under Bush, we had an issue with people coming into the border because of what happened on 9/11, right? We know that under any administration, bad people can slip through. The point of that entire that entire interview was to say two things. Number one, the bill would not have allowed 5,000 people a day in. It would have not. It would have been a screening process that started with the first person to cross into the border, the first, right? And then the second part is to say that the only person that killed that bill was Donald Trump, because he wanted to use immigration to win the election.
Well, and that, I did that happen? Could it happen? Yes. Do politicians want to run on things and do things?
But
I don't.
Let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question. Stand up, though. All right. So when you say, do politicians want to run on things, right? Let me ask you this. Does someone that loves this country and wants to do right by the people, because according to this candidate who's been the president before, right? The worst of the worst is pouring into our country. And we should be scared because they're murderers and they're grapists and they're like, that's all the stuff that he was saying. So if that were true and this president killed a bill that would have stopped it, didn't he just endanger the lives? Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish, because here's the thing. That's what he said. He said that they were the worst of the worst. They were emptying their prisons. They were emptying their jails. They were murderers. They were grapists. They were terrorists. They were the worst of the worst. So if that in fact is true, and he chose to kill a bill that would have stopped it, right? Didn't he just endanger the lives of hundreds, if not thousands, of Americans? And if that's the case, do you want a president that would put his election before the lives of the people? That's the question that I'm asking.
Yeah, but you're also, like you said, don't like hypotheticals. You're doing that. We don't know if that bill would have done what you said.
Yes, I do.
I mean, well, no, you believe that.
No,
it never happened.
no, because of the things in the bill. The bill would have said, so listen, they would not. So let me tell you what happens now. When you have an encounter, okay, and they get a notice to appear, they are released. They are released. If they are screened, so this is what people need to understand. We have a system that connects to other countries, to other governments, that is very high tech. And so when someone comes in and we screen them, if they do not come back as a danger or any of that, they get a notice to appear and they go before a judge. Now, this would have stopped that. This would have been they were screened and then they would have been immediately deported. That's what that bill would have done. And then they would have come back to the border in time to have their hearing. That's what that would have done. So this is real simple. Hold on. No matter what that bill would or would not have done, put that bill over here, right? If there was a chance that that bill would have stopped murderers and rapists and the worst of the worst from coming into this country, if those people were a danger and they're violent, if that bill could have possibly saved any American lives and Donald Trump chose to stop it, did he not choose his campaign over the health and well-being of the people? Did he or did he not choose his campaign over the American people?
I think every president.
No, no, sir. I'm not asking about every president. I'm asking a specific question about Donald Trump in 2024. Did he?
No, you're asking it regarding the border bill.
I am asking you this. I'm going to say it one more time.
Yes.
I'm going to say it one more time.
Please.
Candidate Trump at that time said that our borders are open. The worst of the worst is coming here. These other countries are emptying out their jails and their mental health facilities, and they are murderers and they are rapists and they are pouring into our country unchecked, and we should be scared of them. And then there's a bill that comes through that has bipartisan support, right? That has the potential.
But when you use that word bipartisan support,
correct.
Just because one or two people on one side agree and say they say.
No, it wasn't one or two people on one side. So let me be clear. It had already passed the House. It had already passed the House. So yes, it had bipartisan support, and it was the
Ma'am, who had control of the House?
You're not listening to me, and I'm going to finish what I'm saying. I want to finish what I'm saying to get to the question.
Okay.
The bill passed the House, and there was no supermajority in the House. So if there's not a supermajority, you still need both sides of the House to pass the bill. It passed the House. So on the Senate side, there was a bill that had the potential to shut that down, or let's just say it cut it in half. If there was a measure that would have helped fix the border, and President Trump, then candidate Trump, chose to use his influence to kill that bill, and he's the one telling everyone how dangerous these people are, did he or did he not choose his campaign over the American people? That's the question.
Well, I think the question is that he didn't believe that.
I just gave you, sir, I just gave you the question. You can't tell me what he believed because you don't know him. You don't know what he believed.
Yeah, well, you don't know what he believed.
No, but here's what I know for sure. Here's what I know for sure. Here's what I know for sure. There was a bill. Congress wanted to pass it. He told Congress, don't pass it. At the same time, he told the American people how dangerous these people were. So at a bare minimum, Whether he believed the bill would do it or not is irrelevant because the entirety of Congress believed that it would. So if the entirety of Congress believed that it would, what he believes when he's not in office is irrelevant because he wasn't the president.
He voted on it, and it
Did he or did he not choose his campaign over the American people when he told those GOP senators to not pass the bill because he wanted to use immigration as the biggest issue for the election?
Are these senators and people representative of the people for their districts?
Did he or did he not choose his campaign over the people?
No, because if he felt that the bill was not good enough and he didn't think it was, and
he never said that. He never said that. He never said that. As a matter of fact, I can pull up a video and tell you what he said. I can pull up a video and tell you what he said. Do you know what he said? He said he didn't want to give the Biden administration a win. That's what he said. I can pull up the video where he's talking to Laura What's-Her-Face. And he told Laura What's-Her-Face, I didn't want to give the Biden administration a win.
What about the SR2 bill?
Stop doing what about? No, we're going to stay right here.
Well, but that's what I'm saying.
No, you said, no, sir, you're being disingenuous and I don't like it. I'm not going to pivot to something. I'm going to stay right here because this is important. This is important.
And I agree. You're very passionate. I agree.
This is important because there was a bill. There was a bill that would have improved the immigration system by leaps and bounds. That could have been passed for the American people.
You're going off a bill saying we have modern technology and they share this information with all these.
No. That's not what I'm going off of. That's not what I'm going off of.
But you stated to me right.
Because I know what they use to screen. Do you know how I know? Do you know how I know what they use to screen? Do you know how I know?
No.
Because I read the reports. I also read the reports about listen, they have these big things that you drive cars through that check. And at one time I could quote to you how many were in production and development to be delivered. I know because I know what kind of technology they have because I read the damn reports.
Okay, I understand.
So the bottom line is this. No, the bottom line is this, and we're not gonna do this. I'm gonna hold your feet to the fire on this. I'm gonna hold your feet right here. And the reason why is you are running into a shit ton of cognitive dissonance right now. And I get it. I understand that you don't want to say that. I know that you don't. But not saying it doesn't make it not so.
But I don't agree with you with the cognitive dissonance. Listen,
of course you're not. I don't expect for you to.
Ma'am, you made a lot of statements. One, you said all these countries have the technology and do that. We can share this information. That's not true. That's not true in Venezuela. They did. Venezuela did open.
The Venezuelans, stop it. The Venezuelans people.
Please let me finish.
Oh my God.
Please let me finish. I listen to you though. I do. And I'm
but you didn't. But you didn't. That's the whole point.
But no, what I'm saying is, I know Trump said that they didn't. I agree with you. He said they're not sending the best of their best and all that. But they did open up their prisons in there. They did let everyone out.
No, they did not.
The guy that took over Venezuela was one of the groups that went in there and he overthrew the Venezuelan government, and they did open up their prisons. Look at after they did that, everything.
Can you tell me? So this is what I'm going to ask you. Stand up right now. Can you tell me how many Venezuelans come across the southern border versus how many of them came here on temporary protected status?
And who gave them temporary protection?
No, I'm asking you a question. Do you know, can you tell me what percentage of the people that came from the southern border are Venezuelan?
Hang on. I'm at work. I apologize. I got to handle this right now.
Right.
I do, ma'am. I'm sorry. I'm working.
It's because you don't want to have to say that he chose his campaign over the country, and he did.
I don't believe so. I think he believed that.
I don't care what you believe. I don't care what you believe. I don't care what you believe. And the reason I don't care what you believe is because the facts support what I'm saying, right? So if you choose to not believe the facts, then that's not on me.
I do believe it's easy to Sunday quarterback. I do believe.
No, I'm not Sunday quarterbacking, sir. I don't Sunday quarterback. I don't Sunday quarterback. I literally could pull up the video.
I don't mean to be rude.
Well, handle it.
No, I got to handle this. Hang on.
Yeah. So folks, listen, when you get somebody, and I know that you guys are like, just drop him. Listen, the reason why I'm not is because number one, he's being respectful. Number two, there's 400 people in this room that are also listening, that are also learning. Number three, you see he ran, right? But I can promise you this. I can promise you his ass will think about what I said all damn day. He will not forget. He will not forget. And what I wasn't going to do was let his ass off the hook. Absolutely not. I am sick and tired of letting people off the hook because they cannot admit the truth. Nope. I'm going to make you stand right here and see your husband in the shower until you stop believing him when he says it wasn't me. I'm going to make you stand right here and watch your husband in the shower until you stop believing when he said it wasn't me. We face hard truths around here. I have had to face a lot of hard truths about my own country. I have had to face a lot of hard truths about Israel. I have had to face a lot of hard truths about, good gosh, Congress. I have had to face a lot of hard truths in the last 2 years. I've had to face a lot of hard truths about people in my own family, about people that are my neighbors, about people that I've known my entire life. And here's the thing, if you truly love the country, if you truly love people, if you truly want us to be the greatest and the best that we can possibly be, then you sit in the discomfort and you work your way through it. If I have to accept who we are and what we've done, then you have to sit with the fact that his ass chose his election and his campaign over the American people. And you have to accept and acknowledge that he lied to people and that he used racism and religion to do it. I am about to be 53 years old in this country, in this life. And, you know, I was having this conversation yesterday. I was having this conversation yesterday with my therapist. And it is something to be faced with things that you just didn't want to believe was so. Right? It is something to be faced with the truth about people that you did not want to believe was so. You know, I feel so sad for Black and brown Americans that are in their 80s right now and their 90s right now. I feel so sad for them because when they pass, they will be leaving a world that is worse than the strides that they made. They will be leaving a country that is worse than the progress it had made. You know? It makes me sad for them. You know? And I don't think that people really understand. I think that people say they want change. I think that people say they want better. I just don't know how many people are willing to do the work to make it better. I just don't know. It's so crazy to me. Right, Amy. They want other people to do the work for them. So, I get on this app, and for the last month, I have been showing people all of these graphics and the work that I've done so that you know the things that you are losing in your congressional districts, right? And people will sit on this app and they'll ask me to do their state, their congressional district, their state, their congressional district, their state, their congressional district. And I do it, right? And then I say, listen, if you want access to all the graphics, if you want access to give this information to your neighbors and to your family, all you got to do is go to my link tree, fill out a form, and come to the meetings. That's all you got to do. Get on a Google Meet twice a month. And people don't want to do it. The craziest shit I've ever seen in my life. It's the craziest thing. I too many people don't realize they are in the pot and the fucking burner is on. Too many people don't realize that we are in the pot and the burner is turned the fuck on. Because Cat said, how do they not realize? Because some people don't want to face it, because if they know, then they're obligated to do something about it. Once you know, you're obligated to do something about it. Yeah, Chew, I saw them. All right, when I bring you up here, please put yourself on mute until I get to you.
Hello.
Give me just a second. Okay. Hey, Very Connor, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great. You had something you wanted to share with folks?
Yeah, first of all, I wanted to thank you for having me up and for hosting these conversations. Would it be okay if I kind of introduce myself to the chat and to you a little bit?
Sure.
Okay. I'm not trying to be weird, but I'm a follower of Jesus. I believe God raised him from the dead. I'm a gay guy. And I'm scrolling through TikTok and I see this picture and I hear a big, loud conversation. And when I came in, the topic was like neighbors and like what it meant for people to be neighbors and to love your neighbor and all that. And I think that it's interesting that the conversation went where it went, where what you were just talking about, like with the cognitive dissonance of not wanting to know.
Mm-hmm.
This is painful, and now you have an obligation, and there's all these things in front of you and whatever. But I just wanted to share that the way that I try to look at that is that everything that isn't me is my neighbor. Everything, you know. I'm not trying to be weird about saying my walls have a soul or something, you know, but just the idea of stewardship and care and responsibility. You know, Jesus is asked what's the most important commandment, and he says, love the Lord your God with all of your heart, mind, soul, and strength. And the other is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. And I just want to say that those aren't easy things to do, in the sense that it's a lot of thinking and praying and submitting one's own, I don't know, perspective, whatever. It's hard work to choose truth and love at the same time. It's really hard work to choose to love your neighbor. And I know that it's difficult to imagine how people on the other side of the planet or whatever are your neighbor, people that you hate or that are just completely opposed to you. But I don't know. I just think that the work is worthwhile. And when you were talking about how sad you are for people who are passing now, I mean, I agree, but I also see it as like, wow, can you imagine how hard that race was for them to run up against what they had to fight, and then to see what they did accomplish. They get to rest. But then also, you're here talking about this with people and being patient and trying to educate people and trying to ask questions that are scary and hard, but ultimately have good answers, because the truth sets us free, and it's a good thing to know the truth rather than to hide from it. And I just wanted to encourage you and to thank you for being here and being willing to call out the really difficult things.
Well, I appreciate that. I think that, you know, I hear the part about how hard their journey was. And that's the part where, that's the part that makes me sad for them, is because although they get to rest, right, the last thing that they will remember about the world that they left, right, is that it is in fact very similar to before they did their work. And I think, appreciate that, Jesse James. I think the other part about that is, and this is the part that sticks out to me, is while our laws aren't back there, right? While our laws aren't back there, they're trying to take them back there. And I think it's incredibly sad and disheartening to see that 70 years later, the Southern strategy still works very effectively, especially in the South. And it is sad that after all that time, we're not further along than where we are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I scream myself raw all the time, just in absolute frustration and despair and whatever. You know what I mean? Like, just what? I mean, I'll tell you, I'm here. Mm-hmm. Here I am talking to you, because what the literal fuck else, in any measure of extension of my ability to affect change, can I do other than to come on here and
oh, now I can answer that question for you.
No.
Yes, I can. Yeah, hold on a second. This is not all you can do, love. Hold on, I got something for you. So, since you brought it up, give me a second, you folks over here.
I knew I shouldn't have said
Oh, yeah, no, I got you. And the reason why I have you is because that's what I kept hearing people say all the time is, okay, but what can we do about it? What can we do about it? What can we do about it? And so what I believe is we have to get reconnected with each other. And the only way to do that is through conversations in our communities about the thing that impact us all. And without it being partisan and without screaming about one party or this party or whatever. So I'm going to show you, right? They're putting it in the chat. So they wrote Project 2025. I wrote Project for the People. And this is what I have created, and more is coming, and more continues to be added on a regular basis. But I'm going to flip my screen around, and I'm going to show you a database that I've made. And so what happens is I have a link tree in my bio, and when people go to my link tree to join this movement, is the first link that's in there. And once you sign up and you get an email from me, there's a link to this link drive. We meet twice a month on Google Meet, right? And then we have days of action. So for example, this weekend, we're having a weekend of action where people will take flyers and things like that out into their grocery stores, their neighborhoods, their libraries, their community centers, their college campuses, and they'll also post them across their social media using 2 hashtags. But Barry Connor, tell me what state you're in and your congressional district.
I don't know, and Ohio.
Okay, Ohio, and all right, so let's find your congressional district. Let's do that first. Okay, so, and I'm going to put this in the Google Drive for people. So I have to type around my phone. Find my congressional district. There we go. No. And let's do here. And Ohio. And do you know about where you live on the map? Here, give me your zip code. Just give me your zip code.
43026.
So you are in Congressional District 15. Mike Carey is your representative. Okay. So now I'll go back to the drive, and it is here. Now I'm going to go to Ohio, and I'm going to go to Congressional District 15, and we'll do it in English, although I do have it in Spanish. Okay. And in your congressional district, because of H1, the bill that they did last year, 32,000 adults and children are projected to lose their Medicaid by 2034. Do you think people in your district would care to know that?
I would hope so.
Yeah. And 20,000 children and adults are projected to lose some or all of their SNAP benefits in the same time. And because they did not extend the ACA tax premium credits, right, the subsidies, there are going to be in this district 27,000 additional people that will become uninsured just because of those tax credits, not because of anything else. Now, that's just your district specific. You can go back to the main drive, and we can go to national resources. And then you can check out, these are Project for the People flyers where you can tell people about us, but you can also go, wow, 41% of all births in this country are covered by Medicaid. So what do we do when we lose a significant portion of federal funding for Medicare, right? For Medicaid. 70% of Medicaid adults work. Wow, that's astounding, right? Because people didn't know. And I can show you, where is my... where is my other one? Oh, did I not click back far enough? Okay, I did. Why can I not find my own shit? Oh, down at the bottom. Nope. Hey guys, where did I put the other flyer? Because it should be here. Oh, it's in here. Never mind. So I found it. So you see this?
Yeah.
So these are actually pulled from the states. And so this is what percentage of working age adults on Medicaid actually work. So whether they are blue states, whether they are red states, whatever state they are, right? What we know is that the people are working. So why are we letting them make this a thing when it's not a thing?
Right.
Right. And then this is how people, you can scan the QR code. But so literally, I only started this 5 weeks ago. We have people that have joined this project from 46 different states and in 318 different counties. And so the goal is between now and the midterms to get out and to share as much of this information as possible with the people in our communities, and begin to have conversations with people about things that matter to them. And so, and then there's a whole document in there where you can actually click the sources to find the sources for all the graphics that I make.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I was just reading today about something in Florida about SNAP benefits excluding more food, and it's just talking about screaming my voice raw. I did want to say, when you were talking with the other gentleman earlier, there was like the question of that immigration bill. And I feel like the logic is really easy to understand.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's this idea that something could be solved if this is done.
Right.
And this other guy doesn't want it to happen. And he said it doesn't want to happen because it would make him look bad, and it would make him look better if he did it.
Right.
So then the question is, what did he do it for? Did he do it for him, or did he do it for us? And It's just kind of wild that it can get more complicated than that.
It's not more complicated. It's just that people, if he has to say it, if he has to say that Trump chose his campaign over the American people, then that means Trump isn't who he believes him to be. And that means that all the other things that he's believed are also in jeopardy, right? And so that's why he works so hard to not say it, because once he says it, he can't unsay it. Now he knows, right? He might already know, but once you say a thing and you give life to it, then you know. And so then he's got to go back and question everything else.
Now, it sounds like you probably have more experience with this than I do. So if you do have insight, I'd love to hear it. Because I understand the mental and emotional, ooh, can't touch this moment, right? But do you have any idea how that is dealt with is, yeah, but what about? Like, what is going on with the whatabouts and the other questions about context and all this other stuff?
It's just avoidance. That's all it is. And so I don't let people pivot. Period. Nope, I'm not doing whataboutisms. We can talk about that after we finish this. I'm happy to talk about anything else when we finish this.
Right. Well, if I may, can I ask you, are you a religious person? Do you have a faith that you care to share, or what? Because, I mean, you brought Jesus up here with the prom.
Yeah, so the reason I brought Jesus up is because a lot of the people that I see defending Trump, defending war, defending ICE, defending genocide, and defending grifting, they claim to be Christians, right? And so the reason that I brought this up is because you cannot be a follower of Christ if you support those things. They don't go together. One of those things is not like the other, right? They can't coexist. So, and having been someone who grew up neck deep in church, I can have that conversation with anybody that professes to be a Christian. Hey, Siva.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't want to come on here and have it be about a religion thing, just because I feel like that's not really the vibe. But I would say that where I base salvation and identity of a follower of Christ is in Romans 10:9 and 10, which is just that if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and you believe that God raised him from the dead, you'll be saved. And the reason I put it there is because while I completely agree with you, I guess philosophically, I think technically I have to be willing to say that I don't know that they're not followers of Christ that happen.
Yes, I do.
People.
Nope. Yes, I do. So let me tell you, here's the difference. You are talking about Romans 10:9, which is about someone's salvation. I'm not talking about anybody's salvation. I'm talking about whether or not they are following the teachings of Jesus Christ. And those are two different things. Okay.
So
and
you're talking about, is this the path and the direction and the footsteps that you're following or not?
Yeah, because the Bible says that I shall know them by their fruit.
Right.
Yeah. So that's Galatians 5:22 through 23. Yeah. So if that's not the fruit that your life is bearing, then yes, I do know 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is they will know us by our love, and so that's like the thing is that it's so weird to even have to host or consider conversations about where we draw the line on love. I just have to say that one. So I feel like I asked earlier, and you said that you grew up in the church. Do you personally like have faith now?
I mean, I have faith. Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess I'm just trying to discern whether or not you wanted to talk about that. If that's a no-go, we don't have to go into your personal beliefs. I'm not trying to like proselytize. It really was more just an idea of wanting to know whether I was speaking with another believer in Christ. Just because I think that clarity is important. If you don't want to talk about that, I respect that.
Yeah, give me 1 second. So, Andrea, I started sending out the emails last night, but I haven't gotten to all of the states yet. So I don't know which state you are in. But if you didn't get it last night, you will get it the email today that has the link to the drive, and it has a link to the recording from the meeting. Yeah. So, well, let me ask you this question, because that's an interesting. Do you think that knowing Christ and knowing the religion matters in terms of, so for example, I can talk religion to people who don't profess to be Christians, right? But they know the religion and they know the Bible and they know the Word of God, right? And so I can have that conversation with them no matter whatever their personal practice may be, because they know the faith that's at the core of the discussion, right? So like I could have a conversation with monks about Christianity because they know Christianity, right? I could have it with a theologian, no matter whatever. So because we're talking about the religion itself, not like my personal interpretation of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely it does.
Yeah.
And that's why I asked, because there is a difference in the conversation. And I want to be clear that
what do you think the difference is?
The difference is that okay, so how would I put this? We were talking about neighbors, seeing people by their fruits. You don't have to know what's really inside someone's heart to know what they're doing. You can see it and hear it and whatever, be affected by it. So, it's a different conversation, because on one hand, you're talking about just the general things that anyone and everyone can know and see about this. And then the other conversation, I feel like maybe is just more of a getting to know you and who I'm talking to thing. I'm not trying to present I'm not trying to say anything as like a line where like, I need to know if you're qualified.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I guess what I'm wondering is what's the difference in the actual conversation? Because I don't feel like I don't feel like there is I don't feel like there's anything that that God gives to people that practice certain religions. Because, for example, Jesus wasn't a Christian, okay, and all religions are man-made, all of them, including Christianity, right? So whatever is in each of us, and if we are all made in the image of God, then that means whatever is in a Christian is in everyone else, and so the conversation is the same. So where I'm not understanding why the conversation would be different, whether I said I'm a Christian or whether I said I'm an atheist.
Like I said, it was just kind of like an idea of trying to know where you stand.
But I mean, if you want to ask where I stand on certain issues, I'm happy to do that. What are the things that you want to know where I stand on?
Well, I mean, I asked the question that I wanted to know, and I think that the answer that you gave is the conversation that we should have. So, I mean, when you say that you don't know the difference, I guess what I'm trying to say the difference is that there's, on one hand, the conversation I'm kind of looking at is like, what is written in this book?
Mm-hmm.
What is on the page?
Mm-hmm.
What is the physical, real result we can see in the world from people who say, I believe this, you know?
Well, I mean, so here's the thing. I mean, here's what I know to be true is not all Christians believe the same thing about the book, right? I mean, that's why there's 1,100 different denominations of Christianity, right? So I think just asking someone, are you a Christian, doesn't mean that you all believe the same things about the book, because there's so many different denominations, right? People don't know, and people don't agree on. So that's why I said, for me, what's a more important conversation than asking someone, are they a Christian, is being able to ask about what they believe, period. You know what I mean? Because religion would be different. And even the practice of the same religion is different and varies.
Sure. And that's also, I mean, why I try to be kind of like a weirdo and say I'm a follower of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rather than saying I'm a Christian, just because also the other thing I said is I'm a gay guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so the intersection of those identities where I'm told I'm neither on both sides, you know, or just the fact that, like in Christian spaces, I'm not a Christian because I'm gay, or in gay spaces, I'm not gay because I'm a Christian, or whatever. Like, it's just like a weird thing that kind of you have to straddle sometimes.
Oh, yeah. So for me, so here's the thing. So being gay for me is not your fruit, because Galatians 5 and 22 and 23 doesn't list gender or sexuality, or sexual orientation as a fruit, right?
Yeah,
So yeah. So for me, knowing you by your fruit doesn't include your sexual orientation or your gender, right? Because that's not your fruit. That's just you. So your fruit is actually spelled out. And so anybody that's judging you by your sexual orientation or your gender identity isn't judging you by your fruit. They're judging you by their prejudice.
Well, I mean, I appreciate you saying that, because that's like probably the most succinct way that anyone could say that thing. When you're talking about that, I'm reminded of Galatians. I think it's 3:26 through 29, but it says, "In the kingdom of heaven, there's no Jew or Gentile,
male or female,
man and woman, but all are one in Christ."
Yeah.
And I got that download real early, and have been protected from that bullshit real early, thankfully. Mm-hmm. And then I see it all get caught in the wave. And so when I think that kind of helps me maybe talk about the conversation, the difference between the things. Like, I get that it's a weird thing perhaps to ask that of you. And I know I'm a weird guy for not being quiet or whatever about it. It's just that this picture is saying that Jesus wouldn't support Trump, and weird ADHD time frame, time skip thing. My first live I ever joined was Dean Withers, I think his name is.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was cute, and I thought it was clever, because he said, why would you still support Trump or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was going to be, get around something. I didn't vote for Trump. I don't support him in any practical, ethical, whatever kind of way. But I tried to be cute and say that, well, I support him by praying for him,
mm-hmm.
and I support my, I try to pray for my enemies and my leaders as well. And he happens to be both. I wasn't smart and didn't say it like that then. But I guess what I'm trying to get at is there's this picture of Jesus, cultural Jesus, saying Jesus would not support Trump or ICE, genocide, whatever. And I feel like the truth of the matter is those actions are indefensible. The fruit of those things, like you talked about, they are not love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, goodness, self-control, faithfulness, self-control, whatever. They're not good. They're not love. And so I just think that it's important to have the conversation about not just what's written, but who's saying it and why they're saying it and why they're bringing it up. I respect that you're doing this in order to confront people who would put Jesus in front of them as an excuse to do whatever they want, or to believe whatever they want, or, to support cognitive dissonance or harm in the world. But I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point, and I feel like this conversation took a turn. And I hope that you understand, and that your chat understands, that this isn't a moment for me to kind of try to soapbox or, be weird about Jesus or what you believe or anything. I think it's just an issue maybe of, I'm used to just asking. And also, I just want to be clear that functionally, relationally, it doesn't make a difference to me what you would say, so I just,
gotcha.
That's kind of my spiel.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's always interesting to me when people ask me for a label. I happen to believe that labels can be harmful because when you wear a label, then people make assumptions about who you are and what you believe. And so I'm just not a big fan of them. So that's why when people go, so, can I ask what your faith is? If you're talking about it, or like you said, do you have faith? Yeah, I have faith. Right. If you just said, what's your religion? I would have said love, because I don't believe in the labels that come with what people say. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And at the end of the day, I believe God is love and love is God.
Yeah,
Yep.
agree. I agree completely. And I want to say thank you for letting me up here and for having this conversation.
Sure.
And for doing the work that you're doing, and also for the resources that you shared. That's really interesting. I'm going to look at that. Just real quick, who made all those images
Me.
for you? Oh, you did?
Everything that's been done is me.
Wow. I guess I should ask a lot more things privately, but I'll ask privately what your medication regimen is, because you're on top of something. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
I'm just being.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, if you want to be, because there's a lot of different graphics that are coming, along with education, along with budget cuts and different things like that, and how they impact people. And so, if you go to my link tree, the very first link in the link tree will get you signed up for and all of that, and then you'll get invitations to come to the meetings. You'll get information about the days of action, and you will get the link to the Google Drive. I ask that people do not share the link to the Google Drive with anybody that is not registered, because I can't put people on the map. So it's important for me to be able to track in terms of state and counties, because literally people are getting together because they are finding out, oh my gosh, you're in this county, that's my neighboring county, or oh my gosh, there's 3 of us in the same county, and people are beginning to get together so that they can actually go out and do things together. Yeah, we do have merch. We have shirts and sweatshirts and all those wonderful things. So yes, and I will know. But yeah, no, appreciate you very much, and you're welcome to come back anytime.
All right, well, thank you. You have a wonderful day.
You too. All right, bye-bye. Hey, Tiffany, what's up? Good morning, Steph. Yeah, so that was it was interesting. It will be interesting if stand up ever makes it back. You know what I mean? And if they're able to be able to kind of finish the conversation that we were having. So, Morrow, I see that you've requested. Did you mean to request like on purpose, or were you just tapped your way into the request box? Butters, just saying. Yeah. I can't believe I've already been on here for 2 hours. I had no clue that it has been 2 hours. Like, good Lord. I looked up and I was like, oh my God, the girls are going to be here in less than an hour. That's a lot, right? All right. So I do want to talk about really quickly what some of the things that the president has said in the last day, right? So 3 hours ago, he said, quote, wow, crying Chuck Schumer just said for the whole world to hear that, quote, nobody respects Border Patrol or ICE, end quote. That is one of the most egregious, incorrect, unpatriotic, and dangerous statements I have ever heard from a quote unquote professional politician. And then in all caps, he must immediately apologize to these great patriots. And I mean now, President Donald J. Trump. So this is my thing. Is he going to apologize to the women that he's called nasty, the Supreme Court justice that he just said had a low IQ? Is he going to apologize since he's supposed to be a professional politician? Like, get the fuck out of here. Miss me with it. Absolutely not. It's so wild. And then he says, quote, Iran is having a very hard time figuring out who their leader is. They just don't know. The infighting is between the hardliners who have been losing badly on the battlefield, and the moderates, who are not very moderate at all but gaining respect, is crazy. We have total control over the Strait of Hormuz. No ship enter or leave without the approval of the United States Navy. It is quote unquote sealed up tight until such time as Iran is able to make a deal. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. And then 4 hours ago, he said, quote, I have ordered the United States Navy to shoot and kill any boat. I don't think that you kill boats. I don't think that you kill boats. Do you kill boats, y'all? I don't think that we do. I don't think that we do. I think you can sink boats, right? I don't know that you can unalive a boat though. Just checking. Their naval ships, all 159 of them at the bottom of the sea, that is putting mines in the water of the Strait of Hormuz. There's to be no hesitation. Additionally, our mine, quote unquote, sweepers are clearing the strait right now. I am hereby ordering that activity to continue, but at a tripled up level. Now we do understand that Trump's math isn't real math, right? We know that, right? And he's reposted what somebody else said. So with no comment of his own, the President of the United States of America reposted something from someone else that says, quote, if there are two factions in Iran, one that wants a deal and one that doesn't, let's kill the ones who don't want a deal. The President of the United States reposted that. I'm going to say it again. Quote from the President of the United States. If there are two factions in Iran, one that wants a deal and one that doesn't, let's kill the ones who don't want a deal. Yeah, so Candy Kiss, yeah, I believe it'll go through the appellate process and it'll be fine in Virginia. Like, he's wild. Appreciate it, Tech Lady. What in the world? What in the world? What in the world? What in the world? I did want to show something to you guys. Give me 1 second. Shoot. Oof. Hold on. I'm coming. I swear. TikTok's going crazy. But I need for y'all to get this. Thank you. And done. Love that. Okay, now I'm going back to TikTok. All right, I'm back. All right, so I want to show you all something that a Twitter account that says Iran Army Media posted. Hold on to your britches, people, because holy shit, it is a wild one. It is a wild one. This is a video. I want to say this again. This video was posted on X by an account that is called Iran Army Media. And you'll see it was posted 19 hours ago. And I'm going to show you. You guys ready? This is what they posted. Did y'all see it? It's only 11 seconds long. This was posted by Iran Army Media 19 hours ago. And I'm just going to play it one more time. That's a casket, y'all. said, damn. I don't, right. They not playing. I don't, right. 100%. Yeah, it just said the end. After it turned their star into a coffin, and then it said the end with the whole creaking noises and everything. Right. And what people don't realize is that yeah, this is not a game. And I don't think that people truly understand where we are and what's happening. Lebanon has now said it is a X account with a verified check mark, whatever that means, that says Iran Army Media. That's the account that posted it. So I'm going to give you guys a few of the headlines so that we can kind of get caught up on things, okay? Lebanon is now saying no deal without Israeli withdrawal. Yeah, China and Russia have always been with Iran. Yeah, I went over all the things that President Trump said already. So Lebanon has said no deal without Israeli withdrawal. U.S.-Iran talks have now stalled. Iran accuses U.S. And Israel of quote unquote scaring world with claims about its nuclear program. Holy geez. All right, let's take a look. Senior Iranian officials have blamed Washington for stalled peace negotiations due to the United States naval blockade of the country's ports. Iran's Revolutionary Guard says it has captured 2 foreign vessels in the Strait of Hormuz and opened fire on a 3rd ship for violating maritime laws. 4 minutes ago, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said Israel is, quote, prepared to resume the war against Iran, adding that his country is awaiting a green light from the United States to return the country to the, quote unquote, Stone Age. In a video statement that he put out, he said, quote, the Israeli military is ready both defensively and offensively, and the targets have been marked. We are awaiting a green light from the United States, first and foremost, to complete the elimination of the Khamenei dynasty, and additionally to return Iran to the Dark Age and the Stone Age by destroying key energy and electricity facilities and dismantling its national economic infrastructure. Hella, Raja. He said, when the attack resumes, quote unquote, it will be different and lethal. So that is what the Israeli defense minister has said. This is not great. So here's what's happening, you guys. Let me just tell you. So Pahlavi, who is the son of Iran's ousted Shah, has said that the leaders, this is why they're saying that there's two factions, one that wants to talk and one that doesn't. Okay. He says that Iran's new leaders are quote unquote different faces of the same machine. That is absolutely wild. Hold on, because I need to see if this guy is who I think he is, because this is important. That's what I thought. So the Shah that we installed in 1953, right? This is his son that is now traveling and saying, oh, if he were Shah, he would be willing to work with the United States and with Britain and the rest of the world. Yeah, I saw it, Tracy, but I haven't had a chance to dig into it yet. I just shared because what happened is, Tracy, it comes to the house today. It comes to the house today. So last night, in the middle of the night, there was a roundtable little thing about funding ICE that was passed, and now it comes to the House for a vote. I shared something from Melanie Stansbury that she was talking about it today. So they did it in the darkness of night, which, by the way, here's a clue. If you have to do it in the darkness of night, it's probably not good for the people. And you probably know that the people don't like it and wouldn't approve of it when it's done in the night. Just laying that out there for people in case we have forgotten. Okay. In case we have forgotten. Have any of you all noticed that they're not coming, they're not trying to defend any of this anymore? Has anybody else noticed that? Because I did. So he's not the Shah. He is the son of the Shah. Yeah, you're welcome, Tracy. Salam Abdul. Right. Because this is my thing. Because, right, so many less people trying to defend. And this is the part that is really, really important, right? I think that it's important to call people on their stuff. If you claim to be a Christian, then let's talk about that's what you claim. And then I'm gonna measure you by that. Yeah, he's older. But yeah, he's the son. Yeah, he would still be alive. He's the son of the Shah that we installed. Yeah. So we installed the Shah in 1953, and he was the Shah until 1979. So his son, I don't know when his son was born, but his son is the one that has traveled to Europe and is telling leaders in Europe, right, that the people that are in charge are not the same face. And of course they are. Of course they are, right? Oh, King Money, you know better. You know better. So let me ask you this, King Money, because you have 100% requested to come up here. So are you able to follow the guidelines for this space? That's going to be my first question to you, King Money. Are you able to follow the guidelines for this space? I don't know what YH means. And I'm not going to assume that means yeah. Yeah. It's okay. He can have an opinion. All right, King Money. How are you?
Well, I'm doing great.
Good. Okay, so you had something that you wanted to share with everyone.
Well, the prompt that you got back there, Jesus would not support President Trump or ICE or G side or drafting.
Grifting.
I think Jesus will support the war definitely, 100%.
Based on what?
Based on what Islam is waging war against the world.
But where does Jesus say go to war against other religions?
In Samuel.
Samuel's not the New Testament. Jesus wasn't born in Samuel.
Okay, well, Jesus said that the unrighteousness you shall fight against unrighteousness.
Where? What scripture is that?
I gotta look it up deep, but
go ahead. Go ahead. You can teacup. I'll wait for you to look it up.
All right. Jesus said, it's a spiritual warfare. We'll fight against not flesh, but against spirit entity.
Right, but spiritual warfare doesn't include bombs.
Well, I mean, this is modern times, so I don't think it's going to be.
No. They had weapons then too. He specifically says spiritual. So, but listen, so King Money, listen, okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
If he had said stones, then he would have meant physically fighting. But he didn't. He said spiritual warfare. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's never said to physically fight anyone.
Well, and he also said if you don't have a sword, sell what you got and go buy a sword.
Who did?
Jesus said that. Jesus said
what scripture? What scripture?
Hold on, 1 second.
Yeah.
It's in Luke 22, 36.
Okay, so give me 1 second. Okay, so do you know who wrote the book of Luke?
Well, I'm just telling you what I see in the context in the Bible.
Okay, so give me the scripture again. Luke what?
Luke 22, verse 36. Jesus tells his disciples to buy a sword. Let the one who has no sword sell his cloak and buy one.
Okay, so hold on. Let me give you all of it because context is important. Because I don't believe after he said buy a sword, he said go kill your enemies. I'm pretty sure that's not what he said. So if we go back and we look at the entirety of what was being said, so this scripture is actually about the Last Supper, right?
Yes, and that Last Supper he said to buy a sword.
So hold on. Listen, okay. So this is literally telling them what's going to happen. So listen. He says, let me see, how far back should I go?
It also said here.
Hold on, please. Thank you. Because we got to handle one thing before we go to the next thing, right? Okay, so they have communion. Yep. Mm-hmm. Right. So he says, Jesus asked them, when I sent you without purse, bag, or sandals, did you lack anything? And they answered, nothing. And then he said to them,
Would you read it?
I'm reading the Bible. I started. Okay, so I started at verse 35, but you can go up further than that, right? So this is where he's preparing them. They are at the Last Supper. They have had communion together, right? He tells Peter in verse 34, Peter, before the rooster crows today, you will deny 3 times that you know me. And then Jesus asked all of the disciples, when I sent you without purse, without bag, and sandals, did you lack anything? And they said, no. And he said to them, but now if you have a purse, take it, and also a bag. And if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and go buy one. It is written, and he was numbered with the transgressors. And I will tell you, at this must be fulfilled in me. Yes, what is written about me is reaching its fulfillment. What is that? That's him being hung on the cross, right? And the disciples said, see, Lord, here are 2 swords. And he said, that's enough. And then he went out as usual to the Mount of Olives, and his disciples followed. And then he said, pray that you will not fall into temptation. Hold on. I'm going to finish reading. The scripture. He says, pray that you will not fall into temptation. He withdrew about a stone's throw beyond them, knelt down and prayed. So nowhere did he say, buy a sword and go kill people. He just said, have a sword.
Let me give it to you. Luke, verse 37. It said, he was numbered by transgressors, must be fulfilled, which is accomplished by his followers, being armed.
Right, because
so it's armed.
Okay, so you got to listen. This is really important. Okay? It is written. He's saying the Bible, it is written, it is prophecy. And he was numbered with the transgressors, And I tell you that this must be fulfilled in me. He's saying me, I'm Jesus. I'm the one that is going to be up on the cross.
But he says, here I tell you, it's accomplished by his followers being armed during his arrest.
Well, no. So, no.
I'm
going to tell you, hold on. I'm looking at it too. So let me just tell you, what translation are you reading?
I'm reading from Luke.
I know. I'm asking you what. So you know that there's like King James, there's New King James, there's New International Version, there's New Living Version. I'm asking you, what version are you reading?
Right now, I think it's a King James. Yeah.
New King James or King?
Oh, I don't know which one.
Okay, so that's okay. So let me share with you what it says. I'm going straight to King James. And it says, then said he unto them, but now he that hath a purse, let him take it, and likewise his script. And he that hath no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one. For I say unto you, that this that is written must yet be accomplished in me. And he was reckoned among the transgressors, for the things concerning me have an end. And they said, Lord, behold, here are 2 swords. And he said unto them, that is enough. So nowhere does it say armed in the King James Version, because I just read the King James, right?
Well, the version I'm looking at, it says being armed during his arrest.
Right, but what it doesn't say is be armed and go kill people. Well, being armed does not mean go kill people. Being armed means you have the ability to defend yourself.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, but you're saying that Jesus wouldn't agree with Trump with war when
and he would not, because he did not tell anybody. No, he did not. He did not. We were already armed. How does bombing anybody do that?
Because this is modern time.
No, sir, you don't get to add to Jesus. You don't get to add to what Jesus said. Jesus did not say go bomb anybody.
Well, I mean, the New Testament is light, and if you don't get to add what Jesus, because there's an Old Testament and a New Testament.
And we are reading the New Testament, which is why you don't get to add to Jesus, because Jesus wasn't in the Old Testament.
Well, as far as I know, right, Dani, as far as I know, Jesus would be proud of us in the Americas right now to have weapons that could defend ourselves.
So this is what I just asked you. You said Jesus would support Trump, and I said based on what? And I am asking you to show me Jesus's words that would support these actions.
Well, I just gave you Luke, so that's one of my.
No, but Jesus did not say that. That's not what Luke says.
Okay, hold on.
Because nowhere in there does it say go kill anybody. Nowhere in there does it say go start a war. That's why.
All right, I got you.
Right.
Well, Jesus, right now from Matthew 26, verse 52, stated in the kingdom is not of this world, why he warned of future wars.
He warned them. He didn't say go start any.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're living in the future right now. What are we going to use? Spiritual
He
wars?
didn't say he supported them. He didn't say, I want you to go start one. He didn't say, I want you to be in war. He didn't say any of that.
I got it right here. Matthew 10, verse 34. Jesus says,
Matthew 10, verse 34. He says, what?
Jesus said he came not to bring peace, but a sword.
Yes. And do you know what the sword is that he's referring to?
Well, to fight a war.
No, sir. Do you know what the sword is? Do you know what the sword is that he's referring to?
I know what the sword is, but I don't know if you have different interpretation.
No, it's not. It's not if I have a different interpretation. So again, give me this specific verse you just gave me again.
Matthew 10, verse 34.
Right, exactly. So I'm in Matthew, and I'm going to share this with you, okay? Because if you actually knew the Bible, you would understand that the Bible refers to the tongue as a double-edged sword, right? So when the Bible talks about a sword, right, he is talking about your wisdom, your words, your tongue, right? So so context is important. So here's what he says. Verse 26, we're going to go up. Fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. What I tell you in darkness, that speak ye in light, and what you hear in the ear, that preach ye upon the housetops. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing, and one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father? But the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear you not, therefore, ye are of more value than the sparrows. Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him I will confess also before my Father, which is in heaven. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him I will also deny before my Father in heaven. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and daughter against his mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's foes shall be they. Let me finish the verse. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. He said, I'm not killing your family. I am telling you that no one, not your mother, not your father, not your daughter, not your sister, comes before me.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, you don't have a verse where Jesus says, please go kill somebody.
Ephesians 6, verse 11.
What book did you?
Armor of God to fight spiritual force.
Right. Okay. So what is the armor of God?
The armor as God. Probably today it could be
no. They had armor back then. They had armor back then. He says the armor of God. And do you know what the armor of God is?
Donald Trump put on the armor of God.
Do you know what the armor of God is?
Well, yeah.
Okay, so let's do it. Ephesians, stop it. Ephesians what?
Ephesians 6.
Ephesians, yeah.
6, verses 11.
Verse 11. And so what's really important is that, because I'm telling you, I know the Bible, okay? I actually know the Bible. So he goes back up before. And so let me tell you, so by the way, this isn't Jesus. just so you know. Do you know who wrote Ephesians? It was the Apostle Paul. It was the Apostle Paul. So Jesus, what we're about to read, are not really Jesus. That's what Paul said. So this is not what Jesus said. This is what the Apostle Paul said. And here's what the Apostle Paul said. He said, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee, and thou may livest long on the earth. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh, with fear and trembling, in singleness of your heart, as unto Christ, not with eye service as men pleasers, but as the servants of Christ, doing the will of God from the heart, with good will doing service as to the Lord and not to men, knowing that whatsoever good thing any man doeth, the same shall he receive of the Lord, whether he be bond or free. And ye masters, do the same things unto them, forbearing threatening, knowing that your master also in heaven, neither is there respecter of persons with him. And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness in this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you all the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet are shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. So the armor of God is the peace. Peace is what goes on your feet. Your breastplate should be your righteousness. Your loins is truth. And above all, you take your shield, and your shield is made of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. That is the armor of God. It is truth, it is peace, it is righteousness, and it is faith. That is the armor of God.
Well, I mean, that might be your interpretation.
No, sir, that's not my interpretation. That's the word. That's what it says. Oh, and by the way, you also need to take the helmet of salvation.
Well, Dani, we're living in 21st century.
No, sir.
26.
Listen, you said Jesus said no. Listen,
Yeah, so
if Jesus, King, listen, no. Listen, if the Apostle Paul was talking about something physical, he would have said, get your stone, go to the blacksmith and get your sword. He would have said, go to the blacksmith and have him make your metal breastplate. They had those things back then. They could have made whatever they wanted, but he didn't. And matter of fact, let me tell you what he said. He said, because, listen, King Money, he said, we wrestle not against flesh and blood.
Yes.
In other words, we're not fighting flesh and blood.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We're fighting a spiritual warfare in America right now.
Right.
Yeah.
I know, against Donald Trump. I'm aware.
No. Trump is fighting against the forces.
No, he's not.
Yes.
And again, King Money, I'm asking you to back up your claim. You said that Jesus would support Trump. And I'm going to ask you again, I'm going to ask you again to show me in the Bible where Jesus says he supports war.
Well, you just said Jesus said he supported spiritual war, right? Let's start from there.
Yeah, so physical. The war that's happening right now is physical. Bombs are physical.
Unfortunately, the spiritual warfare are spilling over to physical.
No, that's not the way it works, sir.
Well, it is. Because
that is not the way that it works. No.
I can see people coming in this.
No, sir. Listen, this is very simple. You will not see a single word of Jesus that supports physical war and bombing people. And by the way, Jesus is also in the Bible. I mean, in the Quran. I don't know if you know that or not, but the Quran.
Isa, what they call Isa, is not Jesus.
Jesus is in the Quran. Thank you very much. So listen, and what's crazy is out of all three Abrahamic religions, because you know Judaism, Islam, and Christianity all come from the Abrahamic religions. Of those three Abrahamic religions, it is only Islam that recognizes all three.
BS.
I don't care. You can say whatever you want to say. I know what I know. Hold on. Hold on. I gotta stop you right there for a second, because we are not talking about Islam today.
Islam is
I just said we are not talking about Islam, and when I put you on mute, don't take yourself off. Now, before I brought you up here, you told me you could abide by the guidelines. When I put you on mute, you be respectful and do not take yourself off. Nowhere up here does my prompt say anything about Islam. We are talking about Jesus, King Money. So what you get to do, King Money, is tell me what Jesus said that would indicate he would support President Trump, war, ICE, genocide, or grifting. And if you cannot do that, just say that you cannot, because so far you have been unable to do so.
Well, I mean, you just said Isa.
No, I did not say Isa. No, I did not say Isa. You said
Jesus
Isa.
is not in the Quran. The word
You
Jesus is not in
said
the Quran.
Isa. I did not
You
say
said that's in
Isa.
the Quran.
King Money, I'm waiting. I am waiting for you to show me where Jesus says that he would support something like this.
Well, I mean, put on your armor, spiritual warfare.
I just
that's all
outlined for you exactly what the Bible said the armor is. And it didn't say put on your armor. It said put on the armor of God.
Yeah, so
And the armor of God is righteousness, truth, faith, peace, and salvation. That is the armor of God.
So America, Donald Trump specifically, is waging for peace in the world. I mean, look.
No, he's not. Bombing people is not peace.
Rwanda and Congo.
King Money. Bombing people is not peace.
It is.
Bombing people is not peace.
Well, if you're gonna say this, then I mean, what Islam is doing for
No. We are not talking about Islam, and you're not going to talk about Islam anymore, because Islam is not the subject of this live.
Well, you said
don't say Islam again. I'm being very clear, and I'm going to say it one more time so that you hear me. Do not mention Islam again, because this conversation is about Jesus and the Bible.
Well, Jesus said he's fighting a spiritual warfare. Who's he fighting against? Himself?
The Romans.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But
he was fighting against the Romans.
No, it's not.
He was at that time.
Right?
So
if you say Isa is in the Quran.
No, I never said Isa is in the Quran. So what did I just tell you? King Money, what did I just say? What did I just say to you? What did I just say?
Yeah,
you're going to talk about the Bible.
Are you Muslim?
You're going to talk about the Bible.
All right, bet.
Let's go.
I think Jesus will support the war and support deporting.
And again, I said to you, show me in the Bible where Jesus said that.
Where Jesus said what?
That he would support war.
I mean, I just told you. You
No, you have not. No, you have not.
Physical war that you're saying.
No, because the entire scripture specifically says, hold on, just shh. Wherefore, verses 13, here I'm going to read them. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. And above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. And Spirit is in capital, so that means the Holy Spirit. Praying always with all prayer and supplications in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. And for me, that utterance may be given unto me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel. So again, the armor is laid out for you in great detail. in great detail. There is no question about the armor of God.
Okay, what I got is Ecclesiastes 3, verse 8. A time to love, a time to hate, and a time for war, and a time for peace.
Again, where does it say that he wants the war?
Well, it says a time for love, a time for hate, and a time for war. It says that in the Bible.
Okay. So again, let's go back. Okay. So again, remember Paul is the one who wrote Ephesians, not Jesus. And he says,
Not Ephesians. I'm gonna put the word in the chat right.
It's Ephesians. Oh, Ecclesiastes.
No.
I know.
Yes.
I'm in Ecclesiastes. I know you said Ephesians, but it's Ecclesiastes. I'm there.
3,
So
verse 8.
I know what Ecclesiastes 3 is. They quoted it in Footloose even, right? But here it is. It's the time for everything. Okay? That's what this is known as. And it's a time for everything. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to search and a time to give up. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time to war and a time for peace. What do workers gain from their toil? I have seen the burden God has laid on the human race. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart, yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to end. I know that there is nothing better for people than to be happy and to do good while they live. You hear that? I know that there is nothing better for people than to be happy and to do good while they live, that each of them may eat and drink and find satisfaction in all their toil. This is the gift of God. And I know that everything God does will endure forever. Nothing can be added to it and nothing taken away from it. God does it so that people will fear him. So again, nothing about this, A, is from Jesus. And B says, go start a war.
Well, I mean, your definition of a spiritual warfare is probably...
No, sir. What we just read didn't say that. No.
No, I'm just saying overall about the warfare that you're talking about. Overall, I think Jesus will accept this because he said that.
Well, but Jesus doesn't because he says no.
But he said next time he's coming back, he's not coming back with peace. He's coming back with a sword.
Listen, no.
Yeah.
Jesus, no. The scripture that we just read was different. No,
I'm saying overall, what Jesus said next time he comes back, he's going to come back with a sword.
So where's your scripture?
Hold on 1 second. Yeah, I just say there's a time for peace, there's a time for war.
He didn't say go start a war. Again, King Money.
Hold on 1 second.
Thank you, Carla.
I just added. Hold on 1 second. Yeah. So right here, right? Well, it says right here, Ephesians 6, verse 11. Put on the full armor. I think you read already. Full armor. We
already read that again, and I just told you what the armor is. We read that already. It's Ephesians 6. We literally just read that, and we read what the armor is. We read all of it. That was the breastplate of righteousness. Remember the gospel
Yeah.
of peace on your feet? Yeah, we read that already.
Well, this right here, Isaiah 19 verse 2.
Isaiah is Old Testament. That's not Jesus.
Okay, so what about Revelation 21 verse 7? Those who are victorious will inherit all this, and will be their and I will be their God, and they will be my children. This is a fight.
Where did Jesus say, go start a war?
Well, okay, since you don't want to accept my stuff that I'm
No, it's not that I don't want to accept your stuff. It's that your stuff is not accurate.
All right, I'm going to concede to that. I'm going to concede to that one, since you keep emphasizing that Jesus don't like war, but I don't get why would he say he's going to come with a sword? I don't get that.
He didn't say he was going to come with a sword.
The,
You still haven't provided a scripture where Jesus said, I'm coming back with a sword, because he didn't.
He never said he's coming back with a sword.
No.
Hold on.
No, he didn't.
Okay, all right. Coming back with a sword.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. Okay.
Nope, it doesn't.
Well, it's the same thing that I'm getting from Matthew.
Right, where we already read all of it. It's Matthew chapter 10, verses 34 through 36, where he says that I am separating you from your parents, from your sister, from your children, because you shall love none of them more than you love me. We already read this.
Well, I mean, the one I'm reading said the sword represents the separation between believers and non-believers. Islam is non-believers. They don't believe in Jesus.
Did I just tell you don't say Islam again? We're not discussing is. Hey.
No, I'm not saying Islam.
Did I listen? I need you to pay attention. We are discussing Jesus.
Well, who's a non-believer?
Anyone that does not believe Jesus is the Messiah, which includes which includes lots of people.
Well, Jews believe that, but Islam don't believe that.
No, they do not.
Yeah, they believe in Yeshua.
Okay, listen. Hey. We are not discussing other religions.
No, but I'm saying Yeshua is.
We are not discussing other religions.
Well,
We are. Did you hear what I just said? I don't want to hear about Judaism. I don't want to hear about Islam. We are talking about Jesus Christ.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so we're only going to talk about Jesus. And Jesus did not say to go get a sword and kill anybody.
Well, I guess.
So when he refers to the sword, he says it is the sword of the tongue, rightly dividing the truth. And if you read the Bible, you would know that. If you actually were a practicing Christian, you would know what the Bible says about the sword. You would know if you were a Christian. If you were a Christian, you would know.
Well, for the ICE, I definitely think Jesus will support the ICE, because
based on what?
We have people in America that does not align with our identity.
It doesn't matter. Where did Jesus say you only should have people that align with your identity?
It says this: non-believers and believers. What do you?
No. Where does Jesus say that you should only allow people in your country that believe like you do?
You said it. The sword separate non-believers.
No, he's talking about separating the truth. I said, where does Jesus say that you do not allow people in that don't believe as you? Did he say to kick the non-believers out of your country?
Yeah, he says that because
no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Listen, Dani, I was watching a video yesterday, right? This specific video is showing you about what's going on in El Salvador.
Okay,
This
so
is the-
listen.
hold on.
Nope, I'm not going to talk about El Salvador. King Money,
No, I'm just
listen.
starting my plane where I'm coming here.
YouTube.
Not my plane.
YouTube is not the Bible.
No, it's not YouTube. The president of El Salvador was saying that the guys that came over to the Americas, like they let out from the prison, they actually prayed to the devil.
I do not care about those.
And they're
I don't
in
care.
America.
I do not care. We are talking about ICE, and we are talking about ICE. Jesus, you said Jesus would support ICE. And so I am asking you, because, okay, I just want to make sure that you and I know that the president of El Salvador isn't Jesus.
No, but he's a
Okay.
Christian.
How do you know?
Well, I mean, he just said it. The interview that I
How
watched-
do you know?
The interview I watched emphasized that he's a Christian
I-
and he believes in his
But
Jesus
so
Christ.
what? Christians
house
don't
that-
get
the
to
house-
Christians don't get to say what Jesus said.
The house that he took over in El Salvador, he said many of them have the devil sign in their house. They're praying to the devil.
So
Literally praying to
listen,
the devil.
I don't
And they're
care.
in America right now.
I don't care.
Well, so that's why I agree with ICE.
No, listen, I didn't ask if you agreed with it. I didn't ask if anybody in El Salvador agrees with it or Venezuela agrees with it. I didn't ask any of that. I asked you, where does Jesus agree with it?
I
Jesus.
agree with it because I mean, he said separate himself from the believers.
No, he didn't.
The sword. He just said the sword mean. I just read it right now.
Right. And he says the sword, the word of truth, is what separates believers from non-believers.
Yes, those guys. are
Not
believers, they're
physically.
believers.
Hold on one second, y'all. I have to open the door. Hold on, Bella. I'm coming.
The people in El Salvador that pray to the
So,
devil.
you're not gonna do that when I get up. Come on, Bella.
Bet.
You're not gonna do that when I get up. Listen. Okay. Hi, baby. Hold on. I done got my little cord tangled up. How was school? It was good. You guys had ice cream sandwiches after lunch?
Yeah.
You didn't bring me one? All right. So
We only got one. Or we could've got
it's okay, baby. I was just teasing. Okay.
We didn't have
Mm.
We're gonna look at this flower that mom gave me in the picture. Yeah, the flowers that I have.
Oh yeah, Sharon, I was just teasing. Where you at, King Money?
I'm here. I'm just waiting for you to come back.
Yeah. Okay. So again, where's the scripture about? Where's the scripture you're referring to about the
This
sword
Matthew,
separating
Matthew
people?
Verse 34. Still Matthew verse 34.
Oh my
Says
God.
so.
No, we are not doing that again. That's literally the Last Supper. That is literally the Last Supper. And we already talked about this. We already did it. He is not referring to a sword, and he is not telling people to leave.
Yeah, he is because I mean he said.
Show me where he says leave.
He says separate yourself from the non-believers.
Did he say leave? Did he say so are you telling me that everybody that's in the United States of America, including citizens that aren't Christians, should leave this country?
Well, I'm not saying.
Wait, no, it's either non-believers or all believers. So are you telling me that everybody that is a United States citizen that does not believe in Jesus Christ, is not a Christian, should leave? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, they can't leave. They can't.
No. Are you saying that are you saying they should leave? Even citizens?
Yeah. They should
Yeah.
leave.
So, okay. So that means that you don't actually honor the country, because the country was established on freedom of religion.
Well, you see that constitution that they wrote a couple years ago. That's going to be
No, not a couple of years ago. It is the founding document, and this is not a Christian country. This is not a Christian country, King Money.
What?
This is not a Christian nation.
Well, it was founded on a Christian.
No, it was not.
Media.
No, it was not. No, it was not. No, it was not.
But Thomas Jefferson.
No, it was not. And Orthodox Jews believe that Jesus is in the 7th level of hell in boiling feces. Miss me with it. You don't even know what you're talking about.
You know who Jesus is? The word Jesus, where it comes from?
Okay. Do you hear what I just said to you? Again, show me where Jesus said kick everybody out of your country that's not a Christian? Because if that's the case, I just want to be clear, King Money, if you kick everybody out that's not a Christian, how do they become Christians? Aren't you supposed to be sharing the gospel with non-believers? If you kick all the non-believers out of your country, how do they ever get saved and come to know Jesus? I thought Jesus said you're supposed to go to them and spread the gospel. How do you spread the gospel if everybody's already a Christian?
Well, they believe in your foreign God and your foreign ideology. So
no, did you hear what I said?
yourself from them.
This is the question. See if you can try to understand the question. If you kick everybody out of the country that's not a believer, that's not a Christian, right? Then how do those people find Jesus Christ? How do they get saved? Because doesn't the Bible say you're supposed to be fishers of men? Aren't you supposed to go spread the gospel?
That's none of my business. When you come to this,
oh, but it is because Jesus specifically said to go spread the gospel. That's what Jesus specifically said. And Jesus also specifically said that thou should love thy neighbor as thyself. And he didn't say only love your neighbor if your neighbor is a Christian. That's not what Jesus said. Jesus said the greatest commandment is to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, and love thy neighbor as thyself. And upon these two commandments, all other commandments and prophets hang. That's what he said.
So you said that love thy neighbors as love thyself, right? All you stay over here for the last year and a half, and you keep talking about you more leaning to the Palestinian side more than Israel side.
What is that? What are you talking about?
Well, are they not neighbors? Are they not supposed to be loving each other? I think
well, good. So tell Israel to stop killing them.
I mean, they're killing Israel too.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not. And King Money, we're not going to pivot. We're not going to pivot. I will happily drag your ass in a minute over Israel and Palestine, but not right now. We're going to stay right here. We're going to stay right here.
No, I'm just saying.
No, before we say anything else. Okay? Because first of all, Israel isn't Christian, are they? Palestine isn't Christian, are they? So we don't apply Christianity to people that don't practice Christianity. Bibi Netanyahu is not a Christian. Bibi Netanyahu in Israel is not a Christian, right? So you don't get to tell other people that practice different faiths that they have to live by Christianity, because they don't.
Well, okay.
But so listen, hold on. Uh-huh. Okay, because this is what we got to focus on more than anything else.
Let me ask you a question. You said that, right? So you think you could go to Saudi Arabia and pray to Jesus?
Did you hear what I just said, King Money?
No, I'm saying because
did you hear what I just said, King Money?
Country.
Did you hear what I just said?
Muslim country.
There are Christians that live in Palestine and there are Christians that live in Israel.
No, I'm saying in Saudi, there's no Christian church in Saudi Arabia. None.
I don't live in Saudi Arabia.
And you can't.
We are talking about. Hold on, King Money. You gonna stop? You gonna stop? Stop going all over the damn world. Stop going all over the world. Here's what you claimed. You claimed that Jesus would support ICE because non-believers shouldn't be here. That's what you said.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Great. And so what I'm going to tell you is that's not what Jesus said. Jesus said, and I'm going to give it to you real quick. Matthew chapter 22. Are you ready? Hold on one second. I got a burp. So Matthew 10, start at verse 34. Hearing that Jesus had silenced the Sadducees, the Pharisees got together. And one of them, an expert in the law, tested him with this question. Teacher, what is the greatest commandment in the law? And Jesus replied, I'm at verse 37, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. So what Jesus said above everything else is to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, and love thy neighbor like thyself. He did not say only love your neighbor if your neighbor is a believer. That's not what he said. And he didn't say that only believers get to be your neighbor. He didn't say that. He said, love your neighbor as thyself.
So okay, you love your neighbors as thyself, but yes, it says that there's a time for war, there's a time for love, and there's a time for hate.
Again, I'm specifically reading what Jesus said. You're reading what Paul said. I'm reading what Jesus said. Paul wrote the book of Ephesians. That's what I'm reading.
Right.
So what Jesus said very clearly is love thy neighbor as thyself. And there was no qualifier. There's no qualifier on that. You love your atheist neighbor. You love your Christian neighbor. You love your Muslim neighbor. You love your agnostic neighbor. You love your Wiccan neighbor. You love your neighbor. Whatever their belief is, you love thy neighbor as thyself.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So I should be a fool loving somebody that don't love me?
Listen, people do it all the time.
Well, I ain't doing that.
Well, that's you.
If I find out you don't
well,
like
then that
me,
just means you don't want to follow what Jesus said to do.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think
So just say you don't follow Jesus then.
There's a time for war, there's a time for love.
Jesus said, love thy neighbor as thyself. And he said, all the other prophets and all the other laws rest on these two. So if you don't want to love your neighbor like you love yourself, then just say you're not a Christian and you don't follow Jesus Christ.
So what about the neighbor loving me as I love them?
Well, that's what Jesus said to them, if they're a Christian.
Well, that's exactly if they're Christian.
But they don't have to.
What if they're Muslims? What if they're Muslims?
So?
They pray to a different God.
So? Jesus did not say only love people that believe like you.
He says that. He just said that.
No, it doesn't. He says love your neighbor as thyself. He didn't tell you worry about if your neighbor loves you back. He didn't say only love your neighbor if your neighbor loves you back. He didn't say that.
Well, it did say separate yourself from
No, he did not. He said love thy neighbor as thyself.
No, but he says
all the neighbors. All the neighbors. All the neighbors.
Daddy, it says
so again, Jesus would not support ICE.
Jesus would support
Jesus
ICE.
would not support ICE.
He would.
No, he didn't.
The Mexican that comes here, they pray to
You don't know what Mexicans pray to.
I know what
No, you don't.
I do.
No, you don't.
I do.
No, you don't. Because most Mexicans are Catholic. Shut your mouth, because you really don't know.
Well,
shut your mouth, because you really don't know. Shut your mouth, because you really don't know. Jesus did not tell you to be worried about what anybody else believes.
Well, they pray to Satan.
Most Mexicans are Catholic. See, you literally don't know.
You telling me they don't have a demon god over there that they pray to?
So does the United States of America.
Well, I never seen a demon god somebody praying. I see them cartel pray to demon god.
What are you talking about?
El Salvador gang pray to demon god.
Let me just help you out. El Salvadorians are not Mexican.
Well, I mean,
where are you from, King Money? Where are you from, King Money?
I'm from Central America.
Where? What country?
I'm from Jamaica, Central America.
You're from Jamaica.
Central America, yeah.
Okay. And so when have you been to Mexico?
What do you mean? It's all the time, man. And they
what do you mean? You go to Mexico all the time?
I go to Cancun. Yeah.
You go to Cancun? Well, why do you want to go to Mexico if they worship a devil god? You're supposed to, aren't you? According to you, you're supposed to listen. According to you, you're supposed to separate yourself from them.
Well, Mexico doesn't belong to them.
You just said that in Mexico they have a devil god over there, and so I'm questioning you. Why are you going to Cancun if you're supposed to separate yourself? Because you do know that Jamaica is not in Central America. You do know that Jamaica is not in Central America, right?
You want me to show you? Let me show you.
Yeah, you can't show me.
Well, I can't show you.
Because it ain't.
I can.
No, you cannot.
I can.
Okay, go ahead. I don't know what homemade map you got. Jamaica, man, is not in Central America. I know, Crystal. You know I know. Listen, I know you're a Trump supporter, but I just want to let you know, even if you take a Sharpie and put Jamaica on the Central America, it don't make it Central America for real. Yeah.
Right there. That's all the Americas right there.
What?
That's the Americas. Yeah.
What?
That's the continent of the Americas.
Jamaica is not on the continent of the Americas.
Do you see where that is? You know where Jamaica is?
I do.
Well, did you know that there's a land was broken off right between Haiti and Jamaica, was sunken in the bottom of the ocean?
Do you know that Jamaica is not in Central America?
I just said to you, did you know that Jamaica and Haiti was one until the land of the Awak sunk in the bottom of the ocean? This way you got pyramid in the bottom of Cuban Ocean and Haiti Ocean. You got pyramid under there.
If you keep trying, you might be able to get a little Jamaican accent going. You trying. It's not the one you've had this whole time, though. You can keep going, though. Come on, you're going to get it. You're going to get it, man. Come on, man.
No, I'm just telling you. God bless Americans. These are my people right here.
Oh, good God. Yeah, he was trying the Jamaican accent hard. He was trying the Jamaican accent so hard.
Right there.
What's my name?
Those are my people.
What's my name?
Dani. Dani? That's your name?
No.
And those are my people. So
How long have I been on TikTok? How long have I been on TikTok?
You at least 3 years you've been on TikTok.
The lies you tell.
Yeah, at least 3 years. I've been watching you for a while.
No, the hell, you not been on 3 years? You haven't?
Or at least 2.5 years.
Not 2.5 years.
Well, way before October the 7th, you were part of the package that was 5.
No, I was not here in October the 7th of 2023. No, I wasn't. The first time I went live was July 28th of 2024.
So at least I'm right. You've been almost 2 years again on this app.
No, you said 3 years. And let me ask you this. When did I start talking about Palestine and Israel? Tell me when.
Not October the 7th. I think like 6 months into October the 7th, you start your campaign.
Nope, because 6 months after October the 7th, I wasn't even on TikTok.
I'm going to go a year then. 1 year or something like that.
Yeah, why are you guessing? I thought you've been watching me for a long time.
Well, I know I'll be watching you more than
okay, but I mean, if you've been watching me for a long time and you know, then let me know.
Most of your talk, you always emphasize specifically on what Trump is doing in the Middle East. And I think what Trump is doing
absolutely not.
Is justified.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You have no idea.
My ancestors, I'm sure.
So let me just ask you this. So here's the question. Here's the question. Hey! I'm not talking about your ancestors. I didn't ask about your ancestors at all.
I'm not saying.
I'm not asking about your ancestors. I don't care. I'm not being rude, but I don't care. I'm not being rude, but I don't care. Right? Right? So the reality is someone wanted you to come here because they don't like the fact that I talk about what Israel is doing, whether that's in Palestine or whether that's in Lebanon or wherever, right? That's why you have no clue. That's why you have no clue what the fuck you talking about. That's because if you knew anything about what I talk about on here, You would know that I talk about healthcare quite in depth. You would know that I talk about education. You would know that I talk about immigration. You would know that I talk about, good gosh, militaries, Medicaid, SNAP benefits. You would know that I talk about, good gosh, the January 6th. You would know that I actually read court transcripts on here. You would know that I go, like, for real. You would know. But you don't know. Because somebody just doesn't like the fact that I talk about Israel. And I don't give a fuck.
No, the fact
Here's
is
the
he just
key.
listened
Here's
to
the
Jesus.
key. Here's the
And he
key.
just very
Here's the
listened to
key. And you can tell whoever that this is what I said. If the government and the state of Israel would stop bombing, carpet bombing, putting white phosphorus on innocent people, whether that is in Palestine, whether that is in Gaza, I wouldn't be talking about the state of Israel. I don't give a shit about the state of Israel. And by the way, if Donald Trump was not the president of the United States, I wouldn't give a fuck about his ass either. Because he's not relevant to me. The only reason I talk about him is because he is the president of the United States. Therefore, what he does affects me.
Or what he does affect us too. Because, I mean,
What do you mean affect
we are
us too?
God's
Who's
children.
us? Who's us?
I just mentioned, I just showed you my people. We are in this land. We never go extinct. We're still around. We never go extinct. We're not dead.
So what do you mean? Where do you live?
So this is still our land.
Where do you live?
This is still our land.
Where do you live?
I live in the Americas.
No, you don't. Jamaica is not in Central America. No, it's not.
Well, okay, so why do we play in the Americas basketball tournament, the Americas soccer? Why do we play that if we're not from the Americas?
You don't have to be in the Americas to
Oh, you do?
play
You
for
do?
them. No, you don't.
All the Americas.
No, you don't.
Let me show you
Have you
something.
ever seen in the Olympics? We got folks from China in the Olympics, and they are competing for the American team. Yeah. Just the foolishness. But do you know what's so crazy about this, y'all? And the only reason I've left him on here is because there are so many people that listen to the things that people like him say, and they have no idea just how full of shit he is. That's the only reason he's here. That's it. Everyone should understand this. There is absolutely no way at all. I'm not talking about you right now, please.
I'm not showing
Listen,
you.
I'm
Because Jamaica
not,
in the
I
Americas
don't,
basketball tournament.
listen, shh. So here's the thing, folks, okay? He's been on this panel for a good minute now. And guess what he has not been able to do one time? He's not been able to show me one scripture, one anything in the Bible that would support President Trump, war, ICE, genocide, or grifting. Why? Because Jesus would never support those things. Jesus would never support those things. Neither would Jesus support hatred of other people because of their other belief systems. Jesus was a man of the people. He went everywhere with everyone. Jesus was not a Christian. I'm going to say that again. Jesus was not a Christian. Christianity was man-made afterwards. And one day we'll go into a long thing about why Christianity, like many other religions, was made. But we're not going to talk about it right now. Right, Jesus was an immigrant. And Jesus was beautiful and brown. Jesus was all the things. Matter of fact, Jesus was a Palestinian Jew.
Oh no, there you go.
I'm not talking to you. 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 And you said you could abide by the guidelines. Ain't nobody holding you here. If you gotta go, go.
Anyway,
Did you hear what I said?
Sorry.
Did you hear what I said? I don't care. I don't care what you want. This is not your space.
I can show you.
I don't care what you said. This is not your space. I didn't ask you for your opinion about what I said.
Well, so unfortunately,
I did not ask you. I did not ask you. I did not ask you. I didn't ask you. I know what a map is. Okay? I know what a map is. So, King Money, and you got to listen because this is important. So, King Money, is there anything else about Jesus supporting Trump, war, ICE, genocide, or grifting that you would like to say about this topic? This Jesus, Trump, war, ICE, genocide, grifting. If there's nothing else about any of those things, then I appreciate you for coming today and we can say goodbye. Going once? Going twice? Okay. Done. Who would have guessed that saying Jesus was a Palestinian Jew would have touched a nerve? Who would have guessed that? For those of you all who do not know, Bethlehem is in the West Bank. Jesus of Nazareth was born in Bethlehem, which means Jesus was born in Palestine. And he was Jewish. So, yeah, Jesus was a Palestinian Jew. Okay, beloveds. You did know that one. I know. Right. And Jamaica, listen, y'all, really, Jamaica is not Central America. Jamaica is not Central America. Okay? Now, I know today was challenging. I know that today was challenging. I appreciate you all for hanging in there with me today. Right? I really do. Right. Central America with an African accent. He tried that Jamaica thing, didn't he? Y'all, he tried Jamaica. When I said, come on, Jamaica, man, Jamaica, I can't even do it. But anyway, he tried. I said, not you trying to put on a Jamaican accent. Y'all heard him laugh when I said it? Y'all heard him laugh when I said it? Listen, if nothing else, I'm creating jobs. I hope he earned a buck. I hope BB gives him the full 7,000. Not me helping people out. Listen, I'm creating jobs for folks. This is the panel I want you to go on today. And I want you to try to spread Islamophobia as much as possible. Shut up, boy. We're not going to say no daggone Islam. Yeah, I want him to have the full 7,000. He tried. He earned it. He tried real hard. You know, the whole 3 years he's been watching me on the TikTok I wasn't on. He been watching me the whole 3 years I wasn't on TikTok. Oh, me. Oh my gosh. Anyway. All right. So listen, important things to talk about real quick. I need to give you guys some things. If you truly want to do something to help the country by the midterms, please go to my link tree. Please fill out the form and join Project for the People. We ain't playing around. We do really good things. I don't know, Shan. I don't really care. But seriously, make sure you do that. All right. I'm not kidding about that. If you really want to do something, if you really want to be impactful, if you really want to make America truly great, come join Project for the People. All right. Tomorrow, I will be late going live again. And here's why. I have another VA appointment tomorrow. Okay. So I will be late going live tomorrow. Tomorrow we will do a Pally panel. You sent an email or you filled out the form, Purse? Yeah. No, Marilyn, you can't make it up. He tried Googling as many scriptures as he can. Okay, cool. Perfect. So I'm going to continue to send out emails today for everybody. And if you guys are cool with it, I'm just going to resend the ones that I sent last night. Yep, I got you, Julie. And I'm just going to put everybody's emails in them. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. So I'll resend the 17 that I did last night. And we'll get everybody going. I will be late tomorrow because I have another VA appointment. Send a little goodness my way. I need to have a test done. And right now they don't have any openings at the VA for me to have this important test done until the end of August at any facility within an hour and a half from me. And so they're trying to put me into community care to see if I can get it done sooner through like a non-VA facility. So hopefully that happens. So yeah, I will be live tomorrow later than usual, probably around noon. Tomorrow we will have a Pally panel, right? We will have a Pally panel from our friends between the river and the sea. So Pally panel Bukra. Pally panel Bukra. I'm saying it right? I said tomorrow, right? Tomorrow is like Bukra, right? Bukra. I think so. I appreciate it. I was trying. I hope I got it right. Shimmy ain't here to tell me if I got it right, but I tried. All right. I love you, mean it. Please, you guys, join the Discord. Join Project for the People. I don't want to talk about it. I want to be about it. I'm so sad I lost my ring today when I was at the VA. My thumb ring, I've lost it and I'm devastated. But anyway, it's okay. It's okay. Maybe whoever finds it needs it. All right. Love you, mean it. I will see you all tomorrow and all the things, okay? But I know it's my thumb ring. Yeah, hey, TikTok, get up here and touch this little red heart and collect all of your points, please. I'll see you guys. I appreciate you. Love